It sets the timing.
Yeah, it sets the mood.
We got tired of shooting people. Right. Too many holes in the wall.
Yeah, there's a bunch of holes in the wall. So we keep missing. Welcome.
And we don't have patch them afterwards.
Let me turn this.
I gotta get my shit together. Here. Okay, so you.
What episode are we on?
89.
Not really.
Got you. Got 89 for you here too.
I won't. No.
Nope.
Nope. I like the smell of cigars, but
because you're about to smell them.
Yeah. But no, I'm sorry. I won't, because once I get started, I want to smoke them all the time. Then like I used to back in the day.
Hi, I'm Mike. I sell cigars, so why don't we?
I drive by it 100 times.
Why don't we just go ahead and
This
get
is my route to school, by the way, Airline Drive.
Well, we don't sell cigars up here anymore.
You don't? And Alton?
Yeah, just an Alton.
I got a funny story about that. You're gonna like it.
What's that? Somebody came in here?
I was out washing a car.
Yeah.
And our favorite neighbor stopped me. And he goes, "Man, I'm glad those cigar guys are gone." And I'm staring at him.
Right.
And at first I was about to go, "Yeah, they're not." But I was just staring. My brain just shut off for a minute. Like, what the fuck is wrong with this dummy? So they were nothing but trouble. And they were always causing this. And I'm looking at him going, "Are you fucking stupid?"
Yeah.
What kind of trouble were you causing?
Burnouts.
Oh,
all the
I did see a few videos.
Yeah.
That's all the trouble that we were
That's
causing.
it?
Yeah.
All the trouble.
My neighbor's got a drift car across the street from me. He doesn't.
Who's your neighbor?
It's Team Inertia Drift. His name's Sam Trapp. And
Okay.
David Goss.
Is it a white one?
Yep. White and blue one.
Yeah, he came up here. That was the last time the police were here. Are we recording? That's a good conversation.
Yeah.
So they wanted to have a. They wanted to have a.
Oh, can I open it?
Yeah, go ahead. They wanted to have a gender reveal party, which in 2023 you got to be careful with that. But so we had a gender reveal party up here.
I think they call it a gender assumption party.
Gender assumption party.
there you go.
Yeah. So
There you go.
that's right. They
We gotta be
changed.
PC.
Yeah, they changed it. So it's gender assumption party.
We're getting close to monetization. We gotta
Yeah.
be PC.
Yeah. So anyway, it's where you put some kind of powder down, you do a burnout, and it's blue or pink or whatever, right? So
It's in the tires, actually.
Is it in the tires? Yeah. I thought they put shit underneath the tires because I was watching it. So it's Rosewood Heights, bro.
They probably put stuff underneath the tires to get the tires to cook off.
Right.
Whatever they put underneath.
Sure.
You know what they do.
Yeah.
But it's in the tires. You buy specific tires.
Nice mug, man.
What do you got?
Thank you.
No comply?
Look here. Same mug.
Oh yeah.
I probably made that mug.
I painted mine because it's purple.
Oh.
This is a free mug from school.
This is
Comply.
Right.
See, yeah, those
So anyway,
guys, yeah.
well, they do a burnout, right? And it's blue and blah blah. So I text the deputy chief of Madison County and say, "Hey, we're gonna do a burnout on the street. Don't sin the world.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be one." And then I followed that up shortly after with, "Okay, I meant two." And then because they still had paint on the tires, so they go all the way down this road, right in front of the guy who hates us.
Yeah.
Turns around. Smoking the tires, and then came all the way back. So from Howler to here, just the route you just went, right?
Yeah.
And so anyway, next thing you know, county shows up, and then he goes, "Hey, I just want you to look real mad. I'm gonna I'm gonna scribble on this piece of paper, and I'm gonna hand it to you because we know he's watching."
All he did.
And he tears off a piece of paper and hands it to the kid, and he goes, "Now throw it in your car real mad, and then walk away, and I'm gonna get in the car and leave." And it's like. Because we're not hurting anything. Yeah. During COVID, no one was supposed to be out. So I held burnouts out on the street for, I don't know, months. And
I used to see them.
Yeah. Well,
Fucking, that's cool.
Well, so you know what? We stopped doing burnouts, and look, we had to jack this whole street up to recover it. Otherwise I was doing this shit for free. But the county didn't even pay me. So
yeah, we had a neighbor in the neighborhood. Sam was like, he was always asking me, "Who the heck's calling the cops?" I'm like, "It ain't me." I said, "My son and I are doing burnouts too with you, so it's not, it's not us." And I said, so he's pointing.
Yeah, man.
And they got to the point where the Falto, every time he started the car up,
Oh yeah.
they were on his ass, and it was just I'm like, there's bigger and bigger, better fish to fry.
Full box.
Way better
You know,
things to do than that.
And they're car guys.
Way better
I used
things
to
to
live
do.
across. The guy that sold in the house was a car guy.
Do you know that they're-
I used to give him a hard time
I got
because he
the
always
12
was
pack of them.
peddling
But-
cars.
Bethalto's always been bad for that kind of thing, though.
I was like,
You know what though?
No,
For
yeah.
like 5
Four.
years,
They
you couldn't find a
Okay,
cop
well,
on the street
Well, this
down
is
there.
this is a smaller one. This is how it
Yeah,
should
no,
be served.
Bethalto. When I was growing
And
up,
now they're all
Because
Bethalto,
the 12-ounce
Bethalto
cans
was the
are
worst
fucking-
place to get pulled over. Was Bethalto.
Do I have a bag?
My son's been pulled over in
They pull
his Mustang, or
Yeah.
our Mustang.
they pull your car apart for nothing. They just pull your car apart to pull your car apart. They fucking
My son's
Just
just
the
pulled
worst.
over. He got pulled over coming home from the bowling alley one night because he's working at the bowling alley with my daughter, and they were like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I'm coming home from work. I work at the bowling alley."
right.
And they're like, "Oh, well, you need to slow down." It's like, whatever.
They slurried the roads one year. The year I got my driver's license, actually, they slurried the roads. Duh, what am I gonna do? I'm a teenager, just got his driver's license on loose gravel roads everywhere you go. What am I gonna fucking do? Obviously. Oh man, they were so mad at me about that. They were so mad at me about that.
I like living there and all, but yeah, I could deal without the police presence unless I need it. You know,
What neighborhood are you in?
I'm just due north of Romas.
Due north of Romas?
Yeah, in an older neighborhood
I was almost on the verge.
North
off
of
Prairie
Romas.
and Grace. You know where that
Oh, yeah,
engine
yeah, yeah.
shop is
Yeah,
there?
yeah, yep.
And I was
Performance?
Right before the
Yeah, Performance.
Yep.
You turn right there. And
I was just at
Crossover
Performance
Park.
the other day.
real close to leaving this year.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know why. I go, I
That's
didn't
my-
much at
Well,
all.
that one
That's
time
my
I had
driving
a
path.
freaking
That's
I've
not
been
even.
there
That's
for
not
20
even
years.
like their fancy high-end
not out of
neighborhoods.
my mind
They're-
at all.
No.
But, like I felt so.
I'd
elevated
expect them to
compared
be all
every
over.
other country.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know?
No,
all over
Patriots.
the
Sometimes
new
you
ones.
just get all that, all
the new ones.
whatever. You know, it's concentrated there.
Meadows or Cutter Alges.
I was like, oh my god.
I guess we kind of started, but welcome to Unrolled, episode number.
Well, I got to cut a lot of it out now. So
What?
you guys are fucking. doing
Fucking
your
making
thing.
pizzas over here?
Yeah,
Fuck,
you're doing your
we're doing a gift exchange.
Looks like you have beef jerky.
We do have beef jerky. Do we have any beef jerky left?
Yeah.
Is there any in there? You can like chew on a beef jerky stick if you have any.
There it is.
Yeah, bro.
You want chicken or beef?
Not
Yeah.
right now. I'm
Nah,
good right
it's
now.
like-
I'm
it's
still
like it
good.
look-
I'll grab it when I'm ready.
It looks
How
like a
about that?
cigar. You can just sit there and pretend to puff on it. There'll be enough smoke in here for the rest of us.
Pineapple, strawberry, or regular?
Oh, he's not ready.
Strawberry. I'll grab a strawberry when I'm ready.
Oh, gee.
I'm
come
finishing
on.
my coffee. And then I'll just dump it right in there. I won't
Coffee's
even
for
rinse the cup.
teachers.
Won't even rinse the cup. I like your
that's,
style.
That's a little bit hardcore, right?
Yeah.
We're not hardcore here.
That's how I rinse my cup out at school. I just dump water right in there. Dilute it out.
Is it water? No.
Yeah, it is water.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. What school do you teach at?
Woodruff.
Nice. High school?
Yep.
All right.
Let me cut this cigar. And then I'll be
Harvard.
like,
Yeah, I guess
It's not even 10 o'clock yet. Fools.
Well, I don't know. We had a good conversation to start with, so
Yeah.
fuck that.
Well,
that was the
what I
best.
do.
That was the best of the whole thing right
That's
there.
what I do, guys.
When the neighbor comes over and tells Chuck that thank God those cigar guys are gone, and he's fucking looking right at Chuck. That's quality,
That's
Right.
quality content.
Looking
right there.
right at me.
Like he
And
doesn't-
I kind of just wanted to pull up and do a burnout as soon as he left.
Nice.
You
That
mean
would
I'd
have
go
been
burn
so
out in the
epic.
green.
Kind of grab the piece.
We don't want it sitting there all week, man. It says Ford on it. I don't want you
Yeah,
doing a burnout
Poor
and
guy,
breaking
so
down.
I'm sorry if that offends anybody or makes you feel sorry for me.
Well, it
but I'm
hurts-
not going to play the victim. That's just what it is.
It hurts my feelings.
That
you know.
car is a fucking beaut, though.
It is.
What
a
is
nice
it?
Car. Just a what 60?
68.
68 Mustang. It's actually a good looking car.
Oh,
Very nice.
68 Mustang. You drove a 68 Mustang up here?
Yeah.
That's what I had to drive. My son totaled his '89 Mustang.
Uh-oh.
Wow. Maybe he should be so reckless. Yeah.
Right there, downtown Alton.
When was that?
July 17th.
Okay.
On a Friday.
What part of
By Casey's.
Oh,
Down there by the mill.
that's not
No, that's not downtown.
That's not downtown.
On Broadway.
I get pissy about that stuff. People calling everything in Alton downtown. Can I have that lighter right there?
I was wondering what I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, that's just a big old lighter.
It's like a torch lighter.
It definitely is.
Did you sanitize my headset from the preview?
No. Not at all.
It goes through a strenuous.
So you can actually hear pretty good then.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Yeah, it goes through a strenuous sanitization process.
It's probably raw aluminum all over it.
27.
Raw aluminum. Nah.
Yeah, dude, it was. I came up here yesterday, I guess, right after you were done doing something. Were you working on it yesterday itself? Mother.
Yeah, what time did you come up here?
Dude, I don't know. I don't know what time it is almost all the time.
I didn't leave here till like 5:30. But I left at like 2:15. I had to go. I went down to. I had to go get more argon. I ran out of argon.
Didn't you just fill that bottle? Holy shit, man. All right. When do you want to officially start? Are you close, photographer?
I'm close.
right.
I'm just trying to get this beautiful cigar.
We already officially started.
Did we? I think so. I don't think we edited anything out.
Drew's a little tardy.
Yeah, well,
It's not even
careful. We're close to monetization, so
It's
careful.
just now 10 a.m. So.
Drew's a little tardy.
I'll have-
Retardy.
All right, so it's official start time. So, welcome to Unrolled at 20 minutes in. Episode
11 minutes in.
11 minutes in. Told you I don't know. I have no concept of time anymore. What episode are we on? 89?
89.
89. My name is Mike. Across the table is Chuck. Drew with the backwards hat, almost always. And then our special guest today, instead of Jeremy, he is no Jeremy.
He is no Jeremy.
He is no Jeremy. Introduce yourself, sir.
Scott Zobrist.
And Scott drove probably the coolest car up here so far.
I don't know. Drew's got a pretty good one.
No, I mean it's off the lot. Yours,
Oh.
yeah, no,
Well,
yours.
signing that Mustang.
What's that?
Just
Well, I don't know. Anything done to your car?
many years ago.
It's pretty
55
stock.
years ago.
Pretty stocks.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that wasn't original color though.
No.
No.
Lime green
Right.
or gold, whatever you call that. Gold green, lime green.
Yeah, lime green's.
Mustang?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mustang's original color? It was
No,
that-
no,
it was
no.
that-
No, it's not original color.
No, that's
What color is it?
Now it's like a almost lime green, but like a mix between a dark green and lime green.
Oh.
Is that would you?
hunter
Can you,
green.
Scott? What the hell is your paint code, bro? No, I'm just playing.
And what's your license plate number and?
Yeah, right.
It's,
I need you to Rain Man out on this fucking car, bro. I need you to.
I'm not gonna do that. Let my son do that.
All right. Well, the bore and the stroke is exactly 2 inches apart from each
I
other.
just want it to run so I could drive it.
Yeah, there you go.
It shouldn't have been that bad up here. I had the door open all day.
No, I could smell it. I forget why I stopped in. I was looking for something. I don't know, but Drew gave me another cut water, so I'm gonna forget the rest of my
You
day.
probably, that was probably about 2:30 or so then.
I brought you multiple cut
Because-
today.
You were right, because I was down at his shop at 1:30, so it was right around 2:30.
Yeah, I welded that back pan in and I
I-
burnt up some of the sealant underneath.
I could,
Stuff
yeah,
ranked.
I could feel it. Like I could smell it,
It
and
ranked bad.
yeah, it was in the air. So, what's the ETA on that butte?
Oh, I don't know. I got a car today and that's the only car I got. So.
That's okay. It'll pick up
They're making a jet boat.
A jet boat.
a Jet John.
Yeah, Jet John.
Yeah. So,
Like, you can go take a dookie in it while you're
no,
driving it, or?
no, not quite.
John Boat.
No, no, it's a
Not-
prostitute
not
that
a-
goes out and quickly gets Johns. The Jet John.
Right.
Right. We're all about efficiency here.
It's a John that pays by the minute.
It's a John that's gonna suck. But no, actually, man, the boat's pretty good shape. Like the actual boat itself.
Yeah,
It's good looking.
it's been coated its whole life. So,
Really? Yeah, it's a good looking boat.
so,
And it's got license number on it.
yeah, I got titles for the trailer, titles for.
So we
the
could
boat,
do a little river run
Yeah.
with it.
Yep.
All right. All right.
Yep.
So a Jet John is where
Could have with that one anyway because what are they going to do? Get their boat stuck too?
Well, right, yeah. Well, you can't go up Woodriver Creek because it's so low right now. It's insane.
I know.
I mean, that Jet John won't even go. Like,
It only needs 6 inches of water.
well, I don't think there's that in that creek.
Not down by the river there.
No, it's dry. So I mean, it's 4-wheeler, territory now. So a Jet John is where you take a John boat and a jet ski, and you take the condom off and just let them have this baby, and so it's basically just the jet ski back, so you don't have a prop. So basically, you can skim. You can even hop over logs if you get going fast enough. It's basically the most reckless watercraft you can get. So, and they don't really make them. Just a few guys make them, like, production-wise.
Well, they make kits. You can
Yeah.
build a kit.
So it's awesome for creeks.
Is it more reckless than like those fan boats?
It steers like a fan boat.
Yeah.
That's what I was
terribly.
thinking. I was
Terribly.
just gonna ask that.
So
Terribly. Well, not terribly,
it
really.
steers, no, it steers. Actually, it steers better than a fan boat.
Yeah. Yeah,
It
fan
steers
boat.
like fan boat.
Fan boats, you got to have like a mile to, you know.
Fan
yeah.
boat only does about 30 mile an hour, 25, 30.
Since you're
So
making
this should do 45
That's so scary.
on a creek,
On any
on
body
any
of
body
water.
of water.
Well,
Six,
yeah.
6 inch. All it needs is 6 inches of water.
We could do it in your pool if it's long enough.
damn.
Right.
So since you're being so crafty, can you build an ultralight? Because that would be fun.
What's an ultralight?
That's just a fan and a lawn chair and a parachute.
Yeah,
Oh.
pretty much.
We seen those when we were leaving Florida this year. We seen 2 dudes on.
Oh yeah, dude, they're
they're
for sale around here. There was one in St. Charles for sale for like $3,500. And do you know how hard it is not to
They
go buy
were
something that?
way up in the air.
Oh,
Way
sure,
up in the air.
sure.
Like you could barely tell what it was.
Oh really?
Yeah,
That's
in the air.
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
But I love
Do you,
it.
well, I mean, so like,
well, you had a parachute. Oh, what's so terrifying about it?
No, you got to raw dog that. You don't want a parachute. Oh, you mean on the actual
Yeah, I
thing?
mean,
itself,
the thing
yeah.
is a
Yeah,
parachute.
you're-
I
yeah.
mean, it's a parachute.
yeah, I mean that's all it is. You're just following a style.
Right.
Got it.
I don't know. They weren't falling. They were looked to me like they were staying level.
Oh,
So
I'm sure there's quite a bit of skill to sitting in a lawn chair with a fan and a parachute. But
Mr. Zobrist, tell
Yes.
us about yourself.
why's your mic fucking shit?
Why is it shit?
Turn your
we messed with them for
20 minutes.
15, 20 minutes trying to get everything figured out.
Just, there. Now talk.
Hello.
You don't have to deep throat it.
I'm not.
He's dead in my ears.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just heard it.
It's there.
I could heard the creak of the chair too.
Well, that's always loud for whatever reason.
Yeah.
We could have no mics on, and that's all you would hear.
Where do you want me to start?
I want you to start wherever you feel comfortable starting.
All right. I grew up in Highland, Illinois. Okay. Big family. Went to school, played sports, the whole 9 yards.
You went to school in Highland?
Yeah,
It's amazing.
yeah.
You guys just didn't farm?
I was not a farmer.
Whoa.
Worked on farms.
Everybody works on farms.
What was your favorite sport?
Back then was probably basketball. Believe it or not.
Did it have the 3-point line then?
They just put it in when I was in junior high. He's laughing, but that's a
That's-
true question. I'm in
serious?
I'm in that age group. You know?
Wait, hold on.
What was it?
What is it?
Oh, that's the air.
Yeah, the air conditioning didn't get turned off. Here, I got it. I'm closer.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I thought like a helicopter's hovering over us.
Yeah.
You got to turn the AC off.
No, I just played basketball. Did a little thing.
Can we talk real quick about that 3-point line thing? Is that
Yeah, go
when
ahead.
when did that come into a thing?
In 1988.
I had no idea.
The fall of 87, the season of 87, 88.
No shit.
Seriously? So when Jordan started in the NBA, there was no...
He had the 3-point line in the NBA, but when he played in college, they didn't have it.
No
Really?
shit.
That shot he made in 82 or whatever it was
In the college game?
in the college, I don't know if it had been a 3-pointer, but it was pretty far out there.
Huh. God, Jesus, that shit's strong.
I can't believe that. I thought it was way earlier than that.
The NBA had 3-point line.
The NBA had
They
3-point
did.
line. How long? Like before the 80s?
Yeah, it was, I don't know. I can't exactly.
Okay.
Couldn't tell you that. I was pretty young when it came out.
Right. No, that's funny. I've never heard that. I was playing
Yeah.
ball before 3-point
I mean,
line.
it complete. Well, they put They did two things that year. They put the 3-point line in, and they took away the jump, the tip jump. You know, like
Oh,
you
yeah.
get tied up
Right.
in a jump ball situation, and now it's just a possession arrow. And back then it was a jump ball. So you'd like practice jump your tips.
Yeah.
To run plays off the tip and get a quick score.
Right.
Yeah.
So is that
That's like a whole different facet of the game that they
I'll
don't
be
even play
damned.
That's
these days.
NBA Jam.
right, bro?
Like NBA still does the old school jump.
Okay.
Jump if they get tied up on the defensive end or the offensive end, they don't go to the mid court. They
Right.
go to the
Yeah,
have
yeah.
circle and they jump it up and
Sorry, I didn't mean to derail, but I
No,
had no idea the timeline of the 3-point line or the
Yeah,
tip
it's-
off.
Yeah. So
Huh.
who would you say was your idol for basketball?
Oh, Julius Erving, back in the day.
Dr. J?
Dr. J.
Was it the afro or just his skills?
Skills. He was the man. And then Jordan came in, and then Magic and Bird.
Right.
But I didn't really like, I wasn't a big Laker fan. Although it kind of grown on me because of their story's kind of cool with the new Lakers series they got on. I've been watching that. It's called The Dynasty.
Oh, I haven't seen that one yet.
And it's on like Prime or whatever. But yeah.
They fly helicopters in that? Too soon.
No.
Oh, man. Kobe.
No, but it might lead that direction.
This is just what I do. I interject with fucking horse shit for the next hour and a half.
He's dropping funnies there. He's like the student in the back of the room, like Mr. Zobrist.
Actually, I
What
wouldn't even
if?
ask. I would just blurt it out. Right.
We have this whole discussion derailed.
Yes. Sorry, go on.
It's fine. It's
So
fine.
played ball in school, loved
Played
basketball.
ball. Yeah, I like basketball. Well, that's because you could play it by yourself. You could, you
Right.
could go do it. You could play football. You needed somebody to toss you the ball around.
I did another
Baseball.
activity by myself. It's a lot more fun than basketball.
Yeah, I
Right.
bet you did.
Did it involve a sock?
No.
Was it
no
the sock hop?
There was a basketball goal everywhere. Your neighbors
Way
had-
more fun than basketball, though.
Yeah.
We had a hoop in the front yard.
Sure,
Wait
sure.
for your- I was the youngest of the first 5, and then I had a younger sister that was born 6 years younger than me. So she was raised like an only child, but then I was raised as like the youngest sibling. So I got my butt kicked all the time.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
I was
Character builder.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah.
Pretty good. So
I'll let you continue, but how about Pistol Pete?
I didn't know much about him.
Pete Maravich, man.
He was a 70s guy, and by the time he played for the Celtics when they won their last championship in the 80s, he was pretty washed up. His knees were trash. So, I mean, he was on the team and everything. But, yeah, I didn't really know much about him. But, yeah.
Right, continue, sir.
No, when I graduated, I joined the Air Force.
Nice.
And went, did my whole basic and all the training. I was a cop
Right.
in the military. And
Right.
They call it security specialist.
MP.
And, SP.
SP.
Yep. And got sent to Montana.
Yeah, just pretty hardcore up there.
Isn't that where all the nuclear shit is?
Yep.
A lot of
I
that.
was on a missile silo.
Not everybody in the Air Force gets to fly,
No, very true.
Very few of them do.
which,
Yeah.
which is complete horseshit. Why join the Air Force then?
Yeah, what sucks is when you join the Air Force and you're stuck on the aircraft
I'll
carrier.
tell you why you
You're
joined
on
the
the
Air
fucking
Force.
boat.
You joined the Air Force because you
For the men?
For the women.
no,
No.
you get a better housing and
Yeah.
better food.
Yeah, you do. You get way better bases, bro. You get like some of the nicest golf
Every
courses
Marine
in
and
America.
Army guy will tell
But
you
not
that.
everybody gets to fly. That's weird. You would think that.
So
There's got to be support staff.
I mean,
for
if
that.
you join the Navy,
Somebody's gotta-
you go out on a boat, right?
Yeah.
Well, if you join the Air Force, then you should go out on
You
a
get to-
plane.
hey,
Contrary to what most people don't understand, is the Navy, the Air Force doesn't have the biggest Air Force in the.
The Navy does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Navy has a bigger Air Force than the Air Force actually does.
that makes
because
sense.
the Air Force does it more efficiently. That's what I always tell them.
And if you join the Space Force, you should get to go to fucking space,
or at least fight the
or
aliens.
at least see aliens,
Yeah.
right?
Is
Or at
that-
least be part of that.
See aliens,
Is
yeah.
that a legitimate thing? Can I go to the recruiter and be like, if I was
Yeah,
young
they
enough,
do
Yeah.
recruit for the Space
Yeah.
Force. I don't know what they do.
Well, I assume they just look through telescopes.
They changed Patrick down in Florida, where we go to Florida. They changed Patrick Air Force Base to the Space Force Base. It was an Air Force Base. When we first started going, it was an Air Force Base.
Okay.
that's wild.
Now it's Space
I was
Force.
wondering which one they made the Space Force base.
Man,
I would assume it would have been
Patrick
like
in Cocoa Beach.
I'd assumed it would have been like Cannon Air Force Base or something in Mexico Air Force Bases would be.
I was thinking
Yeah.
Elgin down there by
Think so.
Destin, that area. There's a base there, but it's probably not.
No, it's Patrick. It says Space Force on it now.
That's so funny.
so did you go to college after? Or?
Yeah, so like in Illinois, that's a great thing about Illinois with military. They, I know they still do it, but if you go to a state school, you get your tuition paid. So
Right.
when I was coming out of high school, I was like, college was great. Thought about maybe playing some sport at some small school somewhere.
Right.
It sounded cool, but like how am I going to pay for this? I don't want to really necessarily go in debt right now and take loans out and go to school. So that was a decision maker right there. I was like, well, I can get it paid for when I'm done. So
Sure.
what it does though is it delays the process. You know?
Right. Well, it also helps you clear your head because
Yeah.
you don't know what you're doing at 18.
No.
You know, I don't know what I'm doing at 45. So, I mean, that's why I haven't started college yet. So
true.
I don't know where.
Well, don't.
Yeah, I'm not.
If you don't know if you don't want to go, then don't pay for it.
Well, I've been to several colleges. I deliver pizzas to all of them. So
Yeah, but you were getting paid to do that.
yeah, $10 an hour. So yeah, but that's what's nice about the military first is because you get to, you know, have some jobs in the military, kind of fine tune what you want, develop as a
Figure it
person.
out, man.
Yeah, you get to develop as a person, and where you wanted to be an architect, you realize you don't want to be an architect. You'd rather do X, Y, or Z instead, and now you have better focus, and you're in college would be more meaningful.
Right. Well, I mean, when I joined, I became a cop,
Right.
SP in the Air Force because I thought that's what I wanted to be involved in after I got out
Right,
of law
right,
enforcement.
right.
Well, you know, you get out, and back then in the late 90s, even though the economy was booming, there was no jobs.
Really
You couldn't hardly find a gig somewhere. I mean, I ended up working at Sam's Club,
nice.
you know, which for doing loss prevention.
No, okay.
Which just didn't suck, but
Right.
you know, if Edwardsville would have been what it is now, it'd have been a lot easier to drive over there and get a job, you
Sure.
know, for me. But
Right.
like, but everything was over in like North County, and you know, there was not as much commercial activity around here. to
Right,
get jobs.
absolutely.
So anyway, went to SIU. Took me 7 years to get my bachelor's done.
Nice.
E or C?
They call E.
E.
Yeah, because I met my wife on a blind date while I was in the military.
In Montana.
No,
Oh.
I met her on leave.
Oh.
Team mom, yes.
Team Mom.
They call my wife Team Mom at jiu-jitsu. I do jiu-jitsu with
Okay.
Andrew, so, and then they call me Team Dad because I'm one of the older.
Right.
My wife is literally like the only females that go
Right.
consistently. But anyway, so I met her on a blind date, and you know, we were long distance and kind of just figuring it out. And had it was nice because we look back and we're like, we had some space to not just suffocate each other
Sure.
like young people sometimes do with their
Right.
girlfriend, boyfriend.
Right.
And so when I got out, you know, by the time we got out, I knew that we wanted to get married. So when I got out, we moved right here to Bethalto.
Nice.
In an apartment, and our first house was actually on Woodland there, right by the cemetery.
The big cemetery.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
down on the cemetery, and it was right there between 6th and 9th.
Nice.
So that was kind of where it went there, and we just stayed in the area, liked the area.
Nice.
My wife, you know, she worked locally for a little while, and now she works at a nearby hospital too. So
Right on.
Yeah, she's got a sweet ass promotion, didn't she?
yeah, she just took another. She worked for BJC for 20 plus years, and you know, she took a new step. My son graduated in 21? What is it, last
True,
year?
yeah.
Whatever, is not this past year, but the year before, whatever
Right.
year that is. And so
From
I
college.
took a new job, and so did she.
From college or from high school?
High school.
High school.
Yeah. He works over here at the airport.
Rob's. Oh,
yeah.
the airport.
Yeah, he does aircraft. Now, he wanted to work on planes.
Nice.
He didn't want to go to college, and I told my kids, you want to go to college, figure it out.
Right.
You know, there's plenty of opportunities for you to figure
Sure.
it out. And my daughter, she's assistant manager at the bowling alley down here in Bethalto. And
Right.
She went to college. She paid for it all herself.
Nice.
Graduated college last year with no loans. So, she's
Right on.
What's her degree in? I never even
Business.
knew. Business, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what my kid's going for starting next month. She's going back to college. So,
Fantastic.
I guess so. Just-
Yep.
She's got that 529A that's just sitting there. Fucking might as well use it.
Emily can do anything she wants to
I know.
in this world.
I know.
She's such a
yeah,
bright light, you know what I mean?
But yeah, I taught at a school. I taught it up north for 4 years, and I taught I taught at the St. Peter and Paul here for 1 year.
In Alton?
In Alton, yeah, I taught there for a year. And I was a program assistant. I coached football down at Highland, and I worked at Olin for 7 years also.
Oh, well.
That was the worst 7 years of my life.
That's what I keep hearing.
Yeah.
Right.
But you know, I've done a ton of different things. That's why I try to tell kids, like, I got just a work mentality. Like, I'm gonna find something to make some money,
Right.
keep going, pay bills, figure it out. You know?
Right. And if you don't like something, be prepared to pivot and
Yeah.
go find something else that you
And
do like.
I've pivoted a few times
Yeah.
in my life. So.
Yeah.
I dug graves at the Woodland Hill Cemetery.
Well, I do too, but that's just to get the gold.
Yeah, but
so. There's a bunch of gold in them caskets, bro.
Yeah, you don't want to dig those up.
Well, no, I mean it's free. So
Yeah, I mean, my neighbor
keeps me in shape.
my
It's like
neighbor had the
CrossFit, bro.
cemetery, and he's like, "Hey, can you help me out?" I'm like, "Sure."
Yeah.
Next, I'm up there mowing grass and digging graves. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay.
Yeah, Jimmy Uphill out in Godfrey, he would, they don't really dig, by hand or
No,
anything.
no,
Yeah,
you gotta square them out.
Yeah, you
though,
gotta
to get
square
the-
them out, right? So, but he owned a gas station and still would go dig graves.
Yeah.
So when he sold the gas station, he went and worked for the funeral home permanently and
Yeah.
was, rocking and rolling.
But yeah, I'd been in education. This is my 11th year though.
Okay.
So,
So what's retirement look like? Is it coming up?
retirement looks like I'm gonna teach until I can't teach no more.
Okay. So this is the love, the teaching.
This is it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the gig I wanted to do when I originally went to college.
Right.
And then kind of got sidetracked along the way because honestly, they were changing all kinds of SIU is probably not the. I went to ended up getting my certification through Greenville, but I did not have a great experience going through there trying to deal with all their hoops that you have to jump through with education, trying to get into education. Right. And that's the thing that you have to be prepared to deal with when you go to college. It's about jumping through all these stupid hoops it's not about learning. It's about dealing.
Well, it's kind
dealing
of
with all the crap.
Well, it's kind of like a life lesson too, right?
That's the life lesson. But as an adult, as a grown adult with a family,
right.
I don't have time for
it's
that.
It's horseshit.
Yeah,
right.
I don't have time for that. I'm already jumping through hoops to get here,
right.
And pay these bills. So
yeah, you had to like present a thesis and defend it and all that bullshit.
That wasn't the hard part. I didn't have to defend a thesis, but I did that right. I majored in history and philosophy.
Right.
And so, I had to write a lot of papers.
Nice.
But
I probably couldn't write an 8.5 by 11 right now.
you learn to love to read and write.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Whether you like it or not.
Yeah, probably another reason.
So.
Were there any specific skills or values you acquired during your military service that you find particularly valuable in your current teaching role?
Just consistency, man. It wasn't really that I learned, I realized. Like, you realize, you look around and you're like, wow, those dudes, they don't have their stuff together.
Not squared away?
They're not squared up. Like, they're always in trouble. They're always, they're the ones that are they're the ones that aren't going to last. But
talking about the students?
No, we're talking about military experience, and then like anything that I learned. I just learned that if you go and you get up and you do your job, and keep your stuff straight,
Yep.
keep your stuff squared away, and
So
you shouldn't have any problems. But I also learned that you end up getting to do more work.
Well, sure.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And so you have to balance that rationalization. You have to rationalize that, saying, okay, this is not who I want to be. This is who I am, and I have to learn to deal with it. But there was always perks to it, too. I remember, I'll tell you a quick story. I had a supervisor of mine, and over Labor Day weekend, he was like, what did you used to do before you came and got in the military? I also painted a ceiling of one of the factories in Highland.
Right.
That was my pre-military job.
Right.
Anyway, so he's like, really? You used to paint? I'm like, yeah. He's like, you want to help me paint? Sure. He goes, all right, come to my house. We'll feed you, whatever. And so show up at his house, and suddenly I'm the foreman of the job. He's got all these dudes there.
Right.
These dudes and these guys. I grew up in Highland, which is predominantly white.
Right.
So you also come to the realization that you have to learn how to, you got to learn about other cultures.
Sure.
And so it was a black culture around his house, and I have to say that it was more intimidating than I would realize at the time. But I just went within. These were guys that wanted to whoop my butt on the basketball court all the time, and we played rec ball or whatever.
Sure.
And then they see me in that environment, and they're just totally cool with me, and they're listening to me like I'm teaching them how to do the paint and how to all this stuff. But over Labor Day weekend, so the next week comes up and they call you up and they tell you, hey, we need you. This is where you're going tomorrow. Meet 3:45 a.m. or 4 a.m.
Right.
And then show for your job. Blah blah blah. Well, he calls me up. I go, what you got for me? He goes, come on, Zobrist. You really think that I'm going to put you out there? You've been working for me all weekend. He goes, if you need to go somewhere, just tell me where you're going, and I'll call you, blah, blah, blah. He goes, but you got the week off.
Nice.
Because he was making his... So there was some perks to the work ethic, you know.
Yeah,
so.
absolutely.
And it started to come to more... It came more clarity as, you know, after about 2 years. You know, I also got to go to Saudi Arabia, so that kind of that kind of gave you a little bit of, you know, like if you went temporary duty somewhere and you came back, then you had a little bit more credibility.
Right.
You get, you know, people talk good about you, like, hey, he went there, he did a good job, blah blah blah. Didn't cause any problems.
The Montana Air Force Base, is that close to the border?
No.
Okay. Which one?
Close enough to drive though. I mean, it's like within a couple hours.
Okay.
It was literally where I was right between Glacier and Yellowstone.
Okay.
Like almost halfway.
I think a kid from Alton's up there. Emily's ex-boyfriend's up there, and he had like a blizzard of snow, and his job is like to sit out here for 24 hours and like.
He did what I did.
Just sit there. And,
that's exactly what I did.
I was like, that sounds terrible. You know, you go out and you just sit in the cold and fucking watch this.
Just watch the wind blow.
Yeah.
But at least they have cell phones and radios out there now.
Yeah.
We didn't have. We were out where you couldn't even get radio reception. The only radio you had was the radio from the base.
Right.
You know.
And they never sung to you or anything, did they?
No.
Yeah, it fucking sucks.
Bring you a hot meal.
A little.
You didn't even have bathrooms out there, by the way.
Well, you don't need one. What do you need a bathroom for? You gonna check your makeup?
Ain't nobody else out there.
They didn't even give me a bucket. You know?
You don't need a bucket, bro. It's a snow. It's a snow tundra.
There's no
fucking cover that shit up like a cat.
Right.
Chuck shits in the woods all the time.
That's why he's only got one sock on today.
Do you only have one sock on?
I got two socks
Oh
on.
yeah, I only saw one.
I was like, what are you up to? The fuck, you only have one sock on, bro.
I carry baby wipes because I shit in the woods.
Yeah, no.
See,
Yeah.
those disposable baby wipes were not yet invented.
Well, no.
I don't know if they're disposable.
Yeah,
They're
well,
baby
I mean,
wipes.
They had baby wipes.
They're
back then,
disposed in the
yeah.
woods.
Yeah,
I
in
mean,
the woods.
yeah. So
Yeah. So yeah, there was some. I realized, and I tell you this is really what I realized. I realized I like the process of learning.
there you go.
That's what I realized.
Right on.
I mean, all the training you have to do, you're like, and then once I got to finally, they trusted me enough to say, hey, you need to get on this. We're going to start this. They started this new training team, and they wanted me to train. They had just dozens and dozens of new people coming in because they pushed it's like a push-pull thing for manning in the military. They push people out, then you're starving for, like, you're working all the time because you don't have anybody else to do it, and then they bring all these new people in and you got to train them.
So how does that work?
And so I had to help train them.
Some people want to go in and get a certain MOS, right? Like they want a certain job.
Yeah.
And a lot of that stuff, they want to have the high speed shit. So do people get salty when they don't get those MOSs, or they get promised one thing and they're stuck in, let's say, like a motor pool or something, you know? And
I think.
I mean, like the Army and all the branches do it differently. Like when I was in, I had a guaranteed job, so all I had to do is make it through basic, and in training, I was going to be that job. But that's one of the easier jobs. I didn't know that. You know, like, but it's kind of like I was a grunt of the Air Force, more or less,
Right.
and you got treated kind of that way. But like if you were in a technical skill, like if you wanted to be an aircraft, if you want to work on aircrafts, you had to pass your ASVAB and all that. So you had to get a certain score, and then you go to school. And back then they went to Chanute up there and ran Tool or whatever for aircraft, because my team mom's brother, he was aircraft. He worked on the jets and stuff. So
that's what my dad did. He worked on the aircrafts, and then he was in Germany, and he was in Alaska, and then he was on aircraft carriers. I guess he's deaf in his one ear because he was one of the dudes that was on the deck when they took off, I guess,
Right.
like doing this whole number and the whole bit. But he also did mechanics on the ship.
right,
So.
that makes. But yeah, it's a push pull with manning, and it's just that's what sucks about military in general. I mean,
Right.
but you learn how to deal with a lot of BS. You know,
Sure.
You just. That's why I tell kids in school, I'm like, it isn't, you know, you got to train your brain to just be able to know how to deal with stuff.
Right.
And be like, know what you need to be doing, like decipher it and say this needs to get done, and you move on, you know.
So I feel like being a teacher would be a super hard job right now because I can't relate maybe 20% to Aiden, you know, as far as like his experience of what's happening.
Right.
Right. So what strategies do you use to like motivate and inspire students in the classroom or on the football field?
Do you smack them like my nuns used to in Catholic school?
I can't smack.
So when you taught at St. Peter and Paul, did you get the ruler out and start whacking?
Those were the nicest kids I ever had.
St. Peter and Paul.
Oh my gosh!
It's because they're all high.
No, they were the young guys.
They were still high,
They're
bro.
probably still high.
Them rich.
I don't know. I mean,
them rich
that
fuckers.
was easy. That was probably. I mean, I didn't get paid jack.
Right.
You know.
Catholics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saving it for the Pope.
I mean, I remember looking at my year of gross, and I was like, man, my daughter almost made more money.
My daughter does make more money than I do.
So, but yeah, that was probably because of small classrooms. The kids were all responsible kids.
Yeah.
I mean, it was easy. I mean, that part of it was easy. I mean,
There's the helicopter, bro.
I hear it.
Yeah.
I hear it. We are by our airport, though.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
It's our next guest flying in.
I mean, it's a mindset. It's not really one particular strategy. It's a strategy. It's a bunch of them all at once. You got to know who you're dealing with. You got to know that all those kids are coming from possibly a crappy home life. Maybe they stayed up all night on video games. Maybe they broke up with their girlfriend, boyfriend. Maybe their mom and dad have some trauma going on that they're dealing with. You know, that's kind of filtered into their life. Maybe they have pets and they're not doing. You know, you don't know.
Is Woodruff still open campus?
No.
Oh, really?
No, it's closed.
Is there any open campuses left?
Nope.
It
Hold on.
I think it might have been our year, might have been the last year that it was.
What was?
98 was probably, I think, the last
In
year.
Wood River?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I think Basalto stayed open campus.
No, I mean our school, like
Yeah.
Wood River.
I can't tell you the year they closed it, but I know that, you know.
It was closed since you started
It's
teaching.
yeah, I've only this is my second year. So
Oh, where were you at before Wood River?
I was at Litchfield.
Oh, okay.
And then,
that was the up north?
Yeah, like
St.
St.
Peter
Peter
Paul.
Paul. I taught 1 year at Carrollton. I was program assistant at Highland. I mean, substitute taught.
Right.
I've been in the other thing that's fun fact is I've been in a preschool, early childhood classroom all the way through high school.
Nice. So this your third year? Are you going in your
Second
third?
year in
You're going
Woodruff,
to.
yeah.
What do you teach history?
Yeah.
Okay.
I teach
High school history.
Yes. So I'm very I'm used in multiple different ways.
You're a multi-tool.
I'm a multi-tool, yes. I'm like the Swiss Army knife
Right.
of what you teach. Most teachers teach a subject, right?
Right.
And I teach, I'm certified in social science, which is history, you know, all that
Right.
stuff.
Right.
And then I'm certified in special ed. And at Litchfield, I taught special ed math, and I co-taught science and whatever else they taught.
I was in special ed math.
Okay.
We saw your welds.
Okay.
We see your welds, bro.
Hey,
We know.
Some of the best
We
welder,
see,
you know.
we see your cuts.
Math it has something to do with it, but if you can add, subtract, multiply, and divide, you're going to be just fine, you know.
You don't need to.
I failed math.
You don't need to square root.
I had a teacher who gave us the answers every morning, and I still failed that class. So
I mean, that's what happens when you got an open campus.
that's what happens when you sleep
And you
through
sleep,
the
yeah.
answers.
Sleep through the answer.
That open campus it was the dumbest shit. It only served to get people in dangerous situations. We would have 35 minutes. We would leave school, go to a car, rush to Taco Bell, wait in line to get Taco Bell, or this, and eat on the way back, and then be back and start class. It was just this race the whole time.
I don't know about
it was
that.
fun. Now there was people that went and got stoned all lunch or had a
If
fucking
you
vodka.
were that kid that had to go get Taco Bell because it was the cool thing to go do, maybe, but
I usually walked home to my grandmother's house, and she would have lunch made for me, and I'd watch The Price is Right.
I walked to the corner, light a cigarette, get down in the bush with my buddies because there was a hollowed out bush by CM. They're gone now. There's a hollowed out bush on the corner. You can get down into the bush and then just get stoned immaculate and then go back to class.
Do they still have gators at Wood River? So we called them gators. So like they're the guys who would sit out and smoke at the edge of the campus, like before school.
Well, no, it's closed.
No, I'm saying before school they would sit out past the gates.
I get there pretty early. I usually get there about 7:15.
So here's a
it's before
funny story,
It's before
Drew.
those guys show up.
Funny story, Drew. I hung out with those guys.
You're the gator.
You were what, 99?
98.
98?
Yeah.
So you would have been in school when we were up by juniors. That's the one we hung out at.
Yeah,
by
and they were
juniors.
sitting there right by the gate.
Yep.
Right there. Yeah.
Wait, a marble pack full of joints, selling joints.
Where was I? You didn't come fucking holler at me.
You didn't come holler at us. We didn't go on campus. I mean, the guys I was with went to the high school, but we didn't go on campus. So.
Yeah, so I'm a little bit of a, that's what I like. I like that. So like this year I'm teaching psychology, I'm teaching U.S. history, I'm co-teaching like pre-algebra geometry, and I'm like working algebra that angle, and then I'm actually teaching an English class too. So
like, go ahead.
So if you're special ed, the way it is set up, if you're special ed, you can teach any subject if it's a special ed class. So if it's they call it a self-contained like class. That's what they call it in educational terms. So I can teach anything. They can have me teach anything, and so that's what I do. I do a little bit of everything.
Nice.
When they hired me, that's the job I described I would like. So that's what I do. They tell me they hadn't had psychology there in a few years. So last year they said, hey, would you be open to teaching psychology? I'm like, sure. I've taught it before, and it's actually a cool class for kids, and I like to do. In my personal philosophy of the whole thing is like kids go to school if you can give them some work to do to make them earn it. Like it's a work ethic thing for them. Give them the work, do the work, get it done. Then I can get you a high school credit somehow. It doesn't mean you're getting an A or a B, but you're going to get a credit that you can just move to the next step. I'm not going to make you jump through hoops to, I try to get the amount of work I need to get them out of them to.
That kind of brings me to my next question. So, how many years have you been actually teaching now?
This is my 11th.
Okay.
Well, in education.
Okay, so like. Mr. Marshall's still there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so he knows me. I had him his first year. Talking to the older teachers that have been there, the change in work ethic of the students, has it changed over the years? Is it less? Is it not? I mean, do they not care as much? Is it showing up? Like,
I can't speak. It's hard to speak for them, but I just know by some of their comments, it's like there's less and less of those motivated students. There's more kids that know that they can get by without having to do more. They don't want to dig near as deep because they know, like, hey, we can get away with it. And the kid, there's the amount of cheating that goes on in education in general. The amount of cheating that goes on is you could call it cheating, or you can call it collaboration.
I think that's probably
what I'm
perspective.
saying?
I don't think there's less kids. I don't think there's less motivated kids. I think it's probably the same across the board, and it's just their perspective on it.
Well, what I mean by that is
they've grown jaded maybe over the years.
They know what they can get away with. Like, so what I was going to lead on to say is like somewhere along the line our standards have changed on what we expect. Our expectations have changed.
And so they know how to manipulate it good enough to get by.
Yes.
That just makes them smart. That's not.
But how does that affect the rest of their lives if they can't perform now? How can they perform in the future?
But the outside world's turning into that too. So they're going to be just
what fine. I always like to rationalize with them, like, listen, I know you don't like math, but what is your goal? Do you want to get a high school diploma? Yes. Well, you have to have 3 years of math.
Right.
So pass 3 years of math.
Fuck off your last year.
4 years of English.
Right.
Get your core stuff done, and then figure out what you really want to do maybe in that process, and then put all your efforts into that and go make a living. If whatever it is, I don't care what you do.
I always found it dumb. I find it dumb. It's like college. I find math and English and shit like that in college. It's filler so they can charge you more money. I mean, you got to have it to a point in high school, right? You got to have it to a point. But there's some kids that they're not going to become English majors. They're going to go out and build houses.
Well, I don't think a regular English student we're asking them to be English majors, though.
They're not going to become. So what do they need? What do they need to build houses? They need to be able to communicate, and that's it. And I can communicate just fine without all that shit. I failed it all 4 years.
You gotta know how to read.
You gotta know
how to read. If they don't know how to read by high school, if they don't know how to read by high school, then they're going to smoke crack someplace.
You should just let them go on. No child left behind.
Somewhere along the line in the history of the way the formation of the educational systems, We say we got to. Your basic things are reading and writing and being able to add and subtract, multiply, and divide. Those are the
but
three
English
basics,
doesn't teach you. But English doesn't teach you that. English teaches you how to properly form a sentence and where to put apostrophes and where to do this and where to do that and where to do that.
There's
and you don't
literature.
need it. You don't.
Okay.
If you're going to build houses, you don't need it. If you're going to weld,
Would you say
if
you're a
gonna
creative
weld, you
person?
don't need it.
Would you say you're a creative person?
Yeah.
I know how to read and write.
Are you a creative person?
I would say yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
most
Okay.
certainly.
So, would you
And
say that
it would-
what inspires your creativity, other than like something that's, you know,
Chuck likes literature. He reads all kinds of
do you
stuff.
read? Do
Well,
you,
yeah.
yeah.
I read. I
He
read
reads Dante.
all.
Okay. So
Right.
he reads
Oh, my
Dante.
God.
So
Well,
So he's got a high level of comprehension
Yes.
and
And I
intellect
still
activity
don't
going on.
believe you need it. And I still
Okay.
don't believe you
And
need
you know
You
what?
don't need to know where this. You don't need proper sentence structure
Okay.
to
So
build
listen-
a house to well. This is what I'm getting at. You don't need. There's some kids that would benefit more from the 3 years of vocational training.
That's true.
Than,
Don't disagree.
Yeah,
Then
I agree.
then
I
and
don't
math
disagree
and
with
math
that.
has to be part of vocational anyway. Then would benefit from 4 years of English. Stick them in a different. Make sure they can read and write. Sure. Make sure that they can form a proper sentence. Sure. But don't sit there and quiz them for 4 years on where their apostrophes are supposed to go because they're not going to need it ever.
But
Well,
stick them in.
But how do you know?
Stick them in. Stick them in.
How do you know that
because
kid?
You know, 'cause
How do you know that kid
You-
in freshman year is whatever?
Well, you don't. So
Right.
freshman and
So,
sophomore year,
and
give them that, and
that's
then
what all
by the end
4
of their
years-
sophomore year, if you can't tell where that kid's going, then you shouldn't be an educator because you can't read them.
All right,
You
Chuck.
can't read them.
I want to let you know.
Will you grab my tea?
This is
Drew?
the argument we hear from kids.
Will you grab my tea?
Yes, sir.
This is a fair argument, and I think you're 100% correct on a lot of different levels. But here's what I always tell kids: you have to train your brain to do things that maybe you think are stupid,
The one on the door.
and find a way to appreciate some of the things that you might think are stupid. Because somewhere along the way, I grew up in Highland, Illinois. 99.9% white at the time. I
Right.
think there was one black kid that just entered our school at the time. I was in graduating high school. Probably the first black kid to ever graduate from Highland High School, which is in the late 90s, by the way. And didn't know anything about anybody else, any other cultures other than the Swiss, German, white American culture, right? So if I'm the only thing that I had to connect to somebody that was not like me was through reading literature. That's it.
Right.
Okay.
That's
now
what-
we have a lot more diversity here in this area, which is I like.
Sure.
And so there's all different kinds of people. So it's a good thing to present things to your brain, a young person's brain, that they may not experience. And you kind of you have a kid doing things that maybe they don't like to do all the time. That's actually builds a little character. That's why you have to be able to do things you don't like to do,
Right.
in order to say
Right,
I
but
accomplished that and I got done.
But you're talking about setting them up.
You're talking about a select few.
You're talking
and
about
you're generalizing
setting them up.
everybody
You're
to a
talking about
select few.
But they're generalizing everybody to a select few as well.
No.
No,
They certainly are.
you're talking about strictly just English, like learning how to punctuation and sentence structure. And
I'm talking about the nonsense of it, not the reading of it. So I failed English. I failed all 4 years. Actually, I failed all 6 years of English. I failed it in 7 years. I failed it both times in 7th grade, one time in 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th
less
grade.
language arts. That's not
11th
English.
grade.
Yeah.
I failed it. Well, that's what they teach you.
English in high school for me was reading all of the classics.
They didn't. See, that's not what they. That's
was
not what they
American
got.
literature and was European literature.
Yeah.
And it was all related to the history at the time.
CM didn't get that.
So what I got was I got the history of the time, and then the literature of the history from the time. So it all related together. How the literature was affected by the history, and it was really cool.
Well, Wood River was a better school than because CM didn't. CM got language arts.
Do you know what I mean? Like that was.
See,
Well,
got
hold on.
language
Let's
arts.
back the truck up a little bit. You were also on the corner selling Marlboro marijuana cigarettes too. So
Well, that was after I quit. But CM got language arts. So we didn't. I don't remember.
it's a perspective.
History.
I wouldn't want that
history.
either.
It is perspective.
Because who
It's a
cares about the
perspective,
adjective
okay?
or the
History
adverb
got-
or that bullshit? Who cares?
I failed everything and I know that shit.
Right, but who cares about
So
it?
I
know
can.
what you're
You
saying.
want to know how to spell something? Ask me. I can tell you how to spell it. Guaranteed.
We're not.
Guaranteed.
You can't.
I can read.
You're saying you're talking about two different things. You're talking about intelligence versus education. Okay,
Well,
education doesn't mean it's not a vice versa thing here. Just because you're good at school doesn't mean you're very intelligent.
But all
and
I'm
because
saying-
you're
right,
intelligent doesn't
right.
mean you're well educated. Some of the most
All
intelligent
I'm
people in
saying
the
is-
world, in the history of the world, have never
All
got
I'm
formalized
saying
education.
All I'm saying is, and maybe I am talking about just a select few, but you by the end of the sophomore year, you can look at that select few and you can go, okay, that guy's not going to need to know, that guy or girl is not going to need to know this punctuation, this adjective, and this, that, and this, that, and this, that, and this, that. That person needs to know, needs to jump ahead
And figure
on
out a
mechanics.
vocation.
Needs to
Yes.
jump ahead on welding. Needs to jump ahead on his wood class. That guy's going to benefit more. They need to just, instead of generalizing everybody and going, you got to do all this. Everybody's got to do all this. They need to go, well, these kids should probably, by their sophomore year, because you got to have the first 2 years, they're figuring it out
So
too.
financially, how would you do that?
But that's a guy.
couldn't-
Well,
couldn't
we
do
do.
it. You couldn't do
That-
it
I was just
financially.
gonna get to that.
They got to figure it out.
I was just going to get to that. It's called
they-
here in this area. They got the CAVC, the Collinsville Vocational Academy, Collinsville Area Vocational
Which
Academy.
but you have to have, okay, so in order to get into vocational, and maybe it's different now.
You have
but
to have a
back
certain
then-
number of credits. Yes.
Right, but back then, in order to get into vocational, you had to have this class, this class, this class, this class, and this.
Right.
You had to have all these credits to get to that vocational school. To get to that vocational
Yeah.
school,
You have
and
to
if
jump
you
through
didn't,
some
and
hoops.
if you right, so why are you teaching these? It's
You have to jump
Well,
through
no,
some.
it's-
It's part of it.
they don't need it.
So if that's the case,
unnecessary.
If that's the case, that's how you feel. Then
It's unnecessary.
the school district needs to have better counselors that can identify that situation and direct people
They
accordingly.
need to have people that care, and
Yeah.
not just there filling their
Yeah,
time.
that people
doing their
accordingly
slot,
to direct
Well,
people to those things.
It
right?
not that people don't care,
doing their slot, right?
but it isn't that. Let's just go on.
It wasn't Bassalto,
Okay. Well,
so
That's your experience. So all
Yeah,
you have to do is
I
just
can't
pay more in taxes to afford better counselors.
well, they get enough in taxes already to do this.
No, because
Oh,
you
the
gotta
fuck they don't.
you gotta
You know
put
how
all the
much-
money into people's pockets first, and then it trickles down.
Well,
So you got to pay more in
Well.
taxes to buy gold toilets.
their corruption isn't
Yeah.
my problem.
Yeah, I mean the problem's not a one fix answer.
We're not talking about their corruption.
yeah,
We're
I
talking
think you
about,
nailed it right.
Right,
There. It's not a
we're
one
talking about
fix.
Yeah, there's not one.
Right,
There's not one
it's
fix.
not, but if you look at the way they treat education, it's a one solution for every kid. It's the same thing for every kid. Doesn't matter what that kid's future looks like. You got to go through all this. It's the same.
it's a
same regimen
well,
over and
Well,
over.
you
It's
have a
generic-
curriculum that the powers that be have standardized. It says
Right.
in order to have
These
a
are
high school diploma in the
general
state
eds.
of Illinois, you have to have this.
Yeah, they
this
generalize.
stuff.
They
General-
generalize everybody.
general education requirements, even in college.
In order to be a carpenter, you got to read a tape measure.
It's dumb.
You know,
You still have to know
but,
math.
But I can be honest with
Yeah.
you. In college,
I don't know how to
was a
read a tape
biology
measure.
major.
You know the things I've built. I don't know how to read tape measure.
you really don't,
Not 100% correctly.
but you do know how to read what you need to read.
I mean, I can get it done.
Okay.
No, Chuck's
Yeah, I
brilliant.
mean, I'm just saying. You go. I have family and friends that are in the trades, and one of the frustrating aspects is when they talk about they knew I taught special ed math. They we got kids that just don't know how to read a tape measure. Like, how are we supposed to tell them to make a cut if they can't read a tape measure? Because we're on a roof.
Do you
and we gotta
actually teach them to read a tape measure?
I do.
So not everybody does though.
We need to be
Yeah.
on the metric system, then that'd be easier.
Oh, stop! We're not being communist.
Stop.
Where's your
We
helmet?
use,
at?
You know, it's
hey, we use freedom units in this country.
Right, freedom units.
freedom units. No, I mean, like I said, I do respect your perspective on it because, like, you're on it. You're obviously intelligent, and anybody can build anything. Like what you're talking about has a high level of intelligence, and there's a lot of skills that go along with that. And it's just it's a mindset that you got to have somebody buy into, saying, okay. You're not buying into some kind of fantasy world. You're buying into saying, I really would like to learn and have this in my, train my brain to do these certain things and have this perspective. So when I meet somebody that I don't know Shakespeare, I don't care about Shakespeare, but I actually know what that feels like. Like I went there and I had to read some of the stuff, and I'm like, when somebody talks about Shakespeare, I'm like, oh yeah, cool.
I
remember doing that.
pentameter.
I'm very fervent about it because I was denied my vocational because because I
What was
didn't
your
have I didn't have
chosen?
enough credits.
What was your welding?
I didn't have enough credits.
Did you want to be a
well?
welder?
I was trying to go to JV Johnson, and I didn't have enough credits. The reason
What for though?
I got taken out of the class I needed for the credit because I wasn't passing a completely different class that had nothing to do with none of it. So they took me out of that class. You know
And
where they
here's-
stuck me? In a fucking study hall.
So
That's terrible.
So Chuck, do you think that's the system?
But that was the night. That was CM in the 90s. That
So-
was CM in the 90s. If you weren't doing good here, you got punished by taking this
I
away
would like
from
to
you.
think we've evolved from that.
I don't think it has.
But do you think that is that
Wood River's always been different though, because Wood River had auto shop. Wood River had CM didn't.
Yeah, we had
In order-
AutoCAD, we had all that
Right.
stuff.
In
Right?
order
Yeah.
to get an auto shop or small engine repair, you had to go to JV Johnson. In order to go to JV Johnson, you had to have this, and this.
But do you think that was teachers not giving a shit, or do you think it was the system that
Combination.
right?
Well, here's the difference: is every school's bought into the same stuff where they could actually take some online stuff while they're doing that.
Now,
They've changed.
maybe, like
The
I said,
perspective has
I don't
changed.
know now.
Like I said, in the
don't
'90s
think it's
too,
changed
a guy
that
that gets
much,
out of the
though.
military had to go work for $8 an hour. He couldn't find, but a guy that got out of the military in World War II could go straight, or Korea,
factory,
they could go
right.
straight to a nice factory job with
Right.
great benefits, and
Right.
even Vietnam era,
I know. I just
until the economy went to crap in the '70s. But
I know a lot of kids that graduated and couldn't read. They got a high school diploma, couldn't read. I taught one of them how to read. Actually, his name's Andy. I taught him how to read. I know a lot of kids that I think his kids are probably high school age. You might have them in school right now. I know a lot of kids who would have benefited from the vocational aspect, and maybe they wouldn't be stuck in a meth hole right now, smoking their life away,
True.
if they had gotten just that extra bit of something.
How much is that?
I don't disagree.
How much is that as personal accountability though?
Well,
Yeah.
a lot of it is,
I
but how
mean-
much of it is because
now he's talking like a Democrat.
the education failed them.
I could have swore I watched a podcast where you're all about low taxes and.
But how much
all
of it
this-
is? Actually, I'm very, 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 very centered, if not somewhat left leaning.
Okay.
So
Are you talking about me being a
so-
Democrat?
No,
Right.
he was.
So
Start fighting.
No,
Drew's 100% a Democrat.
no. I'm more like you.
Fucking
But
hippie.
and I agree with some. There's a level of personal accountability.
asshole.
There's a level of parental and family accountability
Well, yeah.
to make sure your kids up to the right stuff.
So we're going back to there isn't a single fix.
No.
Like
But-
we have
no.
we have
But
crazy.
His job is to be a teacher,
No,
a
father.
a psychologist, a father.
Yep.
All these things, these kids, and he can only do so much. And if they're failing at home, he can't support everybody. He has his own
Right.
family, right?
I have to reset. I have
I'm
to.
not- I'm not
if the kid's really
blaming
really
it
struggling.
on one teacher. I'm not trying
No,
to blame
I know
it
you're
on,
not.
lay it on one teacher's laps. It's the education. You can only do with what you can do.
So how many kids
With-
in your graduating class are in the exact same position you are? Never got vocational because of this or that, or how many of them?
Probably
yeah.
quite
How many? How
Absolutely
many?
failing?
Yeah. How many were denied? How many were this out of how many students?
I'd have to take my shoes
Back
off to
then,
count.
CM probably was graduating.
That I know.
They're probably
that I
graduating-
know.
Sure.
I know the numbers. The numbers are they're probably graduating around 200 kids back then in
Right,
the 90s.
right.
And a lot of them probably there was a delayed entry into real career adult-like work.
And,
Right.
and what do
You
you
know.
do? And what happens in that
In that long-
delayed entry? What happens in that delayed
Well,
entry?
they get stray. They stray. They go to they're still growing up. Let's face it.
Right.
So,
well,
so,
you're
so
a
yes,
product
it's
of your
it's personal
environment.
responsibility. A lot of it's personal responsibility, but a lot of it is if they had provided them this. Would they? So when I dropped out of high school, I went straight to work doing drywall. Like within a month or two. I mean, I took a month or two off the party and get stoned. Of course I did. I was already doing it in high school, so why wouldn't I do it? But then I ran out of my parents. My dad said, "Well, you can come to work with me," which I'd been doing since I was 13, 14 any fucking way.
Right.
Or you can go get a real job because I'm not going to pay you enough to support your smoking habit. And so, you know what I mean? And so I didn't have a choice. I had to go paint drywall and that's a job you got to be stoned to do all day, every day. You have to. So
That is a hard job.
So
That is not a
I
fun
mean,
gig.
it's not. I know a lot of kids that would have benefited in my class personally that would have benefited from the vocational, even the jocks, even some of the jocks that they held to such high standards and got treated way better than the rest of us did. Way better than the rest of us did. they would have benefited more from the vocational because they didn't go to college.
Well, yeah,
they didn't.
well,
they didn't go here.
yeah.
They didn't go there.
Yeah, because the problem is the low percentage of people that actually make it to anything professional is small, so they bet their whole life on that thing, and then they have nothing to fall back on because
Sure.
often they get
and they get pushed through
they get railroaded through because of their
because of their status.
yeah, right.
But
And
that's
then-
another issue, and that's another issue that giving them the vocational probably would have eased some of that.
So what's your solution?
They need more These schools need to focus more on what the
How do you
individual child needs.
I'll give you
It's
another problem to
So
that.
how do you
So they
afford
went.
that?
So they went through this whole thing where they said, you know, some kids, and I know they did this in the school system. I don't know when it was after I went, but I know they did. I can't remember when they did, but they did this whole thing where, well, some kids don't learn by you reading to them. You know what I mean, and showing them on the board. Some kids have to actually do these things.
Right.
You have to
Hands-on.
Right,
They're
they're hands-on.
tactile
So they
learners, yeah.
changed it to where teachers are more hands. You know what I mean, to where they recognize this and they can be more hands-on with these students. So why can't they do the same fucking thing? Why can't they recognize what these kids need by the end of their sophomore year and
Whose job is it to
protect
recognize?
them?
The
schools.
teacher that has them
The
for
people
1
that
hour.
are being paid.
The school, the who? The principal who never sees them.
The people that
the
are being
teacher
paid
sees them for 1
to
hour.
do this. The people that are being
Who's paid
entrusted.
to do this?
The people that are being
Who's paid?
entrusted. The
Who-
administration.
Who
so
follows
forth,
the
so
who
forth
who
and
looks
so
over
forth.
who looks over 800
I mean,
kids?
listen.
Who looks
Listen.
over 800 kids GPAs to figure out if they suck or not? That they need to be redirected.
Listen, I can tell you that there's plenty of money.
You
in
want
the
to be a
school
guest
system
speaker
for
at my room?
taxes.
Do it.
Do you see what I'm saying?
There's plenty of money. There's plenty of tax money that they can do this if they weren't squandering it away.
No, I'm with that. But what I'm saying is, all I hear is a problem. I don't
Football
know.
fields and new track and new this and new bleachers and new tennis courts
And
new.
here's the thing.
And I mean,
about
you
that.
need those.
need-
You need those things.
it
You need
makes-
those things. Sure.
Kids don't always have the greatest spaces in their life, right? And the school is the
Sanctuary.
presentation of the community. And if your school looks like crap,
Listen,
Your students will be
not-
too.
then your school, the students, I mean, the
But when you're
students look at it
spending-
as a way, they're like, I mean, I've heard this term so long, and you know, living in this area, it's hood river. I mean, you're saying something derogatory about your own community,
Right.
and you know, you're not taking pride. You got to take pride in whatever you got. I don't care if it's a 500 square foot crappy home.
But when
if you
you're-
can't mow the grass, you can't do certain things to take a little pride in yourself and the pride
But
of what
when
you
you're
have.
spending millions,
And that's what
tearing
we
up
want
your
the kids to
football
do,
field.
to make that decision. It's not our job to make the decision for them.
How much you think Bassalto spent to tear up their football and track? Their football
$12
field and their
million.
track? $12 million.
I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
But-
I guarantee it's millions. I guarantee it is.
so
I
what-
guarantee it is.
So what he's
So when
saying
you're
though.
spending millions to tear up what was wrong with the other football field? My stepson played on that
Nothing.
football field. He
Nothing.
did just fine. I watched him run track on that track.
Track was
there
dog
wasn't
crap,
holes
though.
in it.
The track,
was there?
yeah, there was. It was
Well-
dog crap.
So, but what he's saying is, you know, if you take pride in something and
I
it's clean, it's
understand what he's
organized,
saying.
then
I
you're
get it.
gonna put more effort because you have more pride.
I get it, but how many? Okay, so they spent all this money on this new football field. How many pro athletes are coming out of this?
It's not
area?
about
Doesn't
that.
matter.
That has
No,
nothing to do with
that's
it.
about
It's
the
about-
kids who
it's-
don't even play football.
It's about community.
It's about
It's about the kids who
the
don't
center
play
of the
football.
community.
To have the pride in the school to actually put in the work.
If you don't play football, you did not have the pride in the football field.
Yeah, absolutely.
no,
Dude, I
absolutely
drive
not.
by West and I look at their field. Their field's
Belleville?
beautiful. No, Alton.
Alton, okay.
So
Yeah,
West
okay,
Elementary.
yeah.
So it's where all
It
the
looks-
football. It's fantastic.
It's a cool
looking.
stadium.
Beautiful. It's
Is that the one down in the hole?
Is
Yeah.
that the whole?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know it's at. So I
That is a nice football field.
I drive by 30 years later and I still have pride. I drive
yeah.
by 30 years later and
Well,
I
yeah.
still want to go and watch a Alton Marquette
as
game.
an adult, not as that teenager that
No,
doesn't
even-
play football and doesn't give
Even
a shit.
as a
I think-
teenager, because I
Here's-
graduated on that
Here's
field.
what we have to understand, okay? Here's what we have to understand. I didn't have a perfect experience in school, but I did not have that same experience you did.
Oh sure.
And so I don't
I had
feel
plenty
this.
of good teachers.
No, overall experience. You were denied something that you were clearly probably
Oh two.
Oh yes.
not
Yeah.
owed, but qualified to do.
Earned. Yeah.
Qualified to do, right?
As a human being,
And they
treat
weren't
with
able to
respect.
solve that problem, right? They weren't able to like figure out, say, okay, you're down some credits here, so we need to get you some credits, and
Chuck
we're going
was-
to get you in this program.
Chuck's
Or-
middle name is Jaded.
Or they could have said, okay, you're down some credits on this crap because obviously you don't give a shit about it, you don't care about it, but you're absolutely excelling in drafting, welding, and wood shop.
Yeah.
So let's gear you more towards drafting, welding, and wood shop.
I don't disagree, but I'm saying those are the problems we're faced on a daily,
And there's
on a yearly, daily
and there's
basis.
how they
with
figure it
kids.
out. I just
So-
answered how they figure whose job it is and how they figure it out. They know what your grades
But we're
are.
accountable as a
They
school
know where
district. You're
excelling.
accountable. You're accountable to the state of Illinois, just as like you are your taxes. And as a school district, you can't just not have kids take classes
Right, because
and
they
give them a diploma
they don't want to try
because
on
they
it.
don't
But
want to
you-
try. You can't
but
do that.
you-
The state is we're accountable.
But
And-
you can if you get rid of that stupidity that everybody
Well, that's
has
the
to.
state.
Well,
No,
Right,
that's-
it's the
no,
state.
no.
It's the state.
No, but you have to have that goes back to that counselor thing I was talking about. Is that if you would every year you go in and you pick your classes with your counselor, and she says says you have to take this, 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 and this, and you'd be like, well, hold up, I don't feel comfortable taking that. They don't listen to you, then that's a fucking problem.
Well, no, I mean, because some of it's
But they
standardization,
have to
which
force. They
goes
have
back
to
to
force you to take these.
No,
things.
because you could be like, hey, I'm really good at these things. I like these things. Can I maybe have the general science or the general biology?
Right.
I don't need
Right.
this advanced fucking bullshit, right?
Right.
So for me, I went in there and I was like, I want the advanced everything, all the science shit.
he had higher goals.
well, and he was
No, that's not true.
No, he
No,
was
you didn't?
he was
No,
just book
no,
intelligent.
No.
Oh,
Here's
okay.
the thing. I wanted to help people. I know I wanted to be a doctor, but it doesn't mean it's a higher goal than somebody who wants to be a fucking
Educational
welder.
goal, like you knew you in order, like for kids, if they
Yeah,
know they
he
want to
meant-
go to
he meant
college.
education.
Oh,
Yeah,
if
he knew you wanted to
if
go
you
to
want to
college.
go to college,
I don't
it
think that I'm any
benefits you
better
to
than
take-
anybody.
No, that's not what
it's
he's. That's not what he's
better.
saying.
Yeah.
You had higher
Yeah,
goals
so I'm like,
educationally.
I need all these AP classes, and I want to take them, and
Yes,
I enjoy
right.
it,
That-
right?
that fits the
and
mold.
and the fucking person said, okay, we're gonna put you in this stuff.
Right.
But if you go in and you don't know like what direction you want to go, somebody needs to be able to. I mean, you know, you're good at this stuff, and like, hey, maybe we should direct you this way, right? And maybe people don't feel comfortable doing that, but
But
you
they
would know.
can't. But they can't because of the state says you have to do this. You have to
Well,
do
yeah.
this.
because we don't.
Ak chung.
So look at China versus us, and their what they demand out of their students.
Well, yeah, but if they're
And then look
you
at
said
how
the proper
China-
word demand
Demand because they want quality
Right.
residents.
right.
They don't want idiocracy to come true.
Right, and they still have a high level of crime from the kids that are not.
Well, there's always going to be rebellions. There's
That are
always an
not. Right.
exception to
Right.
everything. We already know that.
Right.
But what I'm saying is they demand certain things. That's why higher education is not $100,000. That they want productive citizens because the ultimate goal, which, now we're getting into how much, communism
Well,
versus,
that's a
where
whole
we're at.
thing.
Well, he,
Right.
brought up the fact that I sounded like a Democrat earlier. I think education should be free to an extent. If you're going to be
Well, it is,
a
to an
doctor,
extent.
if you're going to be a doctor, if you're going to be something that excels our society,
Public servant.
If you're going
hey,
to
what
develop
doesn't what-
doctor, scientist, blah blah blah.
So
blah,
you're
blah,
saying
blah,
that I should get my student loans paid off?
Yeah.
Because I
Go
went
ahead.
back to be a teacher.
No. But what does
Yeah,
what?
yes,
But what doesn't?
yes.
Let's do that.
Yes.
Yeah, but what doesn't excel? What does not excel? The American future. You said you should be free education if you're a
Lots
doctor,
of things.
public servant,
Lots
whatever.
of things.
So name a profession that doesn't excel what we do. From the guy that makes steel to the guy that freaking gives you aspirin or a
But
prescription.
the guy that makes steel isn't going to college anyway. He's not getting a college degree.
well,
Anyway.
he might to further his career.
It's not. I mean, I know a kid who went to a vocational school.
Yeah, I mean, there's
learn-
metallurgical.
to-
there's
to learn metallurgy, exactly,
there's
to learn metallurgy.
Yeah, there's metallurgical degrees that you can learn to further your degree.
He went to a vocational school to get that. Yes.
Right.
Yes, he did.
So, but what I'm saying is, so should his student debt be paid off because he wanted to further his career to better his community? Because no matter what,
does-
if you have a job in a
does
town,
it
you're spending
better-
money in that town,
does
and you're
it-
bettering the community by far.
Does it better and benefit society in a massive way? No, it doesn't.
It kind of does.
It really doesn't, because you already know metallurgy.
What do you got? More questions?
So the sciences,
Shut the fuck up.
So doctors, sciences, psychology, things like that. What shouldn't be paid for? I don't know. A liberal arts degree. I mean,
I think
But I
That
mean,
kind of
art
thing?
makes people happy.
I
So
think
I mean,
kind of
it
thing?
benefits.
That's not.
Dude, I can spin it every which way.
That's not.
I think you should pay what you fucking owe.
Well, I
so here's
concur.
the deal.
I
Here's,
concur.
here's the deal.
But I think our country, our society, our government owes us a certain debt.
Okay, yeah. So I know that if I took out the loans that I took out in chiropractic school when I was an 18-year-old or 17-year-old going into college, I would have no fucking idea of the ramifications.
Yep.
Luckily, I had a 3/4 tuition scholarship for Illinois College. Okay, so
Yeah.
I had to pay for room and board. Big fucking deal. Okay, but chiropractic school was $12,000 or $13,000 a semester. I had 10 trimesters of that. Okay, walk out with 160 grand in loans. In a year, that had to start paying back, and I had no idea what the fuck that even meant then. And it started being paying back, and for 3 years, I paid back $1,300 a month. Couldn't buy a house, couldn't do those things.
Because nobody told you.
Nobody told me, but
They took advantage of it.
yes, at this point in time, though, I've paid back
More
over
than you
over $200,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is
And I
horseshit.
and I still
Yeah.
owe
Yeah.
$130,000
And that's where he's going.
Yeah.
This is where
on
he's
that.
going.
two-
Why is the government got to loan out 6% loans?
Why does the government loan out money? Period.
6%
The
loans.
government shouldn't loan out money.
You can get
I
a
think-
car for 1.9%.
Not right now. Actually.
think-
Well, you know what I'm saying.
Right, not right now, because the
I
government
think
the
they
government
owe us-
decided they needed to make more money.
No,
so.
Ford's advertising F-150, but you're buying a new house when you get there.
No, you're not fucking getting. I don't care what it say.
I
You're
think
not
they.
getting
I
1.9.
think they.
But you know what I'm
I
saying,
think
why-
they owe us a certain amount of. I think they owe it to.
But so if they owe it to you, they're going to expect a
owe
certain
it to
curriculum
everyone.
done.
Yeah.
And then that's just what you were against a second
They're
ago.
funding the school. This is what they expect.
Yes,
I've-
absolutely.
I've-
so you got a double-edged sword
I don't
there.
necessarily like it either. I don't. But it's the.
But it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be.
There's
that
a lot of
way.
things that don't
Yeah,
have to
it
be
doesn't
that
have to
way.
be
It's that way because
Dude, I pay
of, because of-
36% tax on tobacco that comes in the state. Why?
Yeah.
I'm the third highest in the country. That doesn't have to be that way.
for this badass
But then-
cigar.
No, it doesn't.
Right.
But it's greed.
So
It's
it is-
Greed.
it is
anything with taxes is just
Sure.
pure greed.
Sure. Well, that's what your school's funded with.
It's just
That
pure
is what
greed.
your school is funded with. You're not
the
writing a
school's
check
not-
to the school to help the
school's not-
students because you don't have kids in there.
Well, that brings up another point. They want you to write a check every year.
Right. Well, you do anyway.
Here's the thing. I have to pay for Sailor. I'll buy at least $200, $300 worth of supplies for a class that I'm supposed to pay fucking taxes for right now.
Well, sure.
Right.
Absolutely. Dude,
Right.
well,
You know what I did every year? I walked in with my tax bill and said, "Paid in full."
all right.
Paid
so,
in full.
So you didn't help the situation. You didn't help fund that extra counselor to watch
but-
the fucking
But
GPAs to fucking guide the person.
You know how much Bethalto School District makes in tax revenue every year?
Well, yeah, you got to pay the teachers what, 70 grand?
No.
Well, the teachers
No.
I know in Roxana make
No.
70. Fuck you.
Yeah, teachers and
I got shit to do today.
All right.
teachers in Roxana get paid.
Police chief.
They got the best
Fuck.
salary.
No,
in the
yeah,
area.
it's a terrible job.
It's a negotiation that started
go.
years and years ago.
As far as wages go, and what you deserve and what you earn, it's a terrible job. It's terrible.
No,
Oh, God,
it's
mango.
not. It's a perspective.
I'm saying as far as wages go,
Yeah.
you do
I
not
mean-
get paid enough to do the job that you do.
I'm glad you all feel that way.
No, yeah,
Well,
dude,
yeah.
I am
you
not
can-
going to
you-
sit here and it's hard. Here's what I'm saying. You talk about personal accountability. We took out the loans. It's our responsibility to pay them back. If the government passes a law and says, "Hey, we're going to pay X amount of money to your loans,"
Right.
heck yeah, I'm going to take it.
Sure.
But I'm not going to sit here and complain
You
about
sign that
taking a
paper.
loan out that
Right.
I
You signed
tried
for
to-
it.
But
Oh, yeah.
I did. I already
Yeah.
got my bachelor's degree paid. I earned that,
Right.
know. But
Right,
here's
right,
what I'm-
right now I got $100,000 in credit card debt. No, that's a real
Yeah.
fucking number, right?
Yeah.
I owe people fucking everywhere, and I, easily can go file bankruptcy for $2,000. But I came from, if you fucking say you're gonna do something, you do it. You're gonna pay that fucking debt, right? So I'm gonna do everything in my power to fucking do it the right way to pay back even fucking major banks that are obviously fucking crooked as fuck. But it's
Because you took it, right?
it's morals.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Well, in 2008, I
Nobody's-
made a conscious
nobody's
decision
disagreeing
to
with
go
that.
to school to be a teacher. And I was in a I didn't leave I stayed in the factory until 2011.
right.
I was working
That's why it
there
took
from
you 7 years.
2004 to 2000. I graduated my bachelor's when I was working midnights, afternoons, days in Olin.
Right.
So I made a conscious decision. This is what I want to do.
Well, Olin helps
And-
that. I have to get the fuck out of here.
They make you come to the. So like it was an enlightening experience.
Right.
yes.
You know what?
So
I need the fucking summers off. Fuck this shit,
It's really
bro.
hard for me to say that I don't make good. I don't make enough money as a teacher because you go back to the personal responsibility. I made this decision. I'm going to make do with what I can earn.
Right.
And I do the driver's ed. I do the coaching. And I get a little bit of money
Yeah.
here and there.
Yeah.
And if I wanted another job on the side, I could get another job on the side.
Right.
But I like my balance here.
Right, right.
And it's my mindset.
And
It isn't-
that's more important anymore than money.
yeah, it's about I can do jujitsu. I can,
Right.
if I get my arm hurt, I can go to work the next day.
Right.
The only thing I know I can't go to work and go do the next day is if my appendix blows up on a weekend.
Well, you can.
Because
Yeah, and he goes in the hospital.
I actually did go to work the next day.
Yeah, so
And
you did.
Then they forced me into the hospital.
You were at fucking jujitsu that night.
Yeah, I was at jujitsu. That
Did
week.
it really burst?
Yeah, it really
Holy
did
fuck,
burst.
bro.
Yeah.
Jesus.
First time, and
How old were you when that happened?
it was April,
3 months ago?
Easter.
What'd you burst his appendix for, Drew?
Right.
I'm looking at him like, dude, are you okay? Like, should you be here? And he's like, I'm good.
Did
And
Drew
then-
adjust you and then your appendix burst?
It did. It was
Yeah.
No, nothing like
Dude's
that.
so
That's-
strong,
we
bro.
ain't going that route. That's
Dude's
not
so
practice.
strong, bro.
We ain't going that route.
That dude, I take pregnant chicks there all the time. They pop babies right out. So
hit the wall. That
he pushes them right out.
I like the idea of personal responsibility because that's a great thing for
I'm not
kids
saying
to
that you-
understand. Like, this is the framework it takes.
Well, personal responsibility
Like,
also means
if you-
taking classes that you don't want to take and
I have
passing them.
students right now that are talented in other ways,
Mm-hmm.
and they look at me straight in the face. I had a student that sat there and did nothing for an entire year. He got a 0.0 on his math, right?
Right?
Didn't turn in one thing.
Did he show up every day?
He showed up most days.
Most
I
days.
didn't get a 0
But
because I had to take
have
tests.
and he told me, he showed me some stuff that he liked to do on his own time.
Right.
And I said, dude, if that's what you want to do,
Right. Just get through this garbage.
I said, you can, if you don't want your diploma, I don't know what to tell you other than put all your efforts into what you think you're
Sure.
going to be good at,
Sure.
and try to make a living. Because if you
Adversity.
music.
Adversity.
I say,
It
go
could
do
make
it, man.
You could easily make a living. You can go
No,
get a
I'm just
G- you
saying.
can go get a GED
I'm
and
not
make a
that
great
guy
living.
that says you have to get a high school diploma to be successful.
No,
I'm
you
not
don't.
that guy.
No.
But my job is to say, up until the certain age, it's our job to provide you that opportunity.
Very nice.
It's opportunity.
Yep.
If you want to do this, this is the opportunity you've been given. If your family says, because most kids in the
But is
teenage
it-
years will say, well, why you want to get a high school diploma?
Is
Well, my
it an
family wants to.
opportunity?
I don't have any of my. I have several students say I have a lot of family members that don't have their high school diploma.
I was the
and
first.
They want me to get my high school diploma.
Yeah, I was the first in my family.
Here you got family pressure, and I said that is a very good way to think about it. Like,
Is
hey, my
you-
family, like, I got credibility with my family if I can just accomplish something
Right.
that they didn't. You know?
Well, I didn't care about credibility. I
Well,
just,
no, but
I just
some
wanted
people-
to break the mold.
Is
Yeah, break them
shoehorning kids.
By the way, I'm the first person in my family to graduate college.
Yeah, but my cousin was, but she sells cocaine out of a
Is-
hotel
Oh,
room.
wow.
So
Is
I didn't go to that
shoehorning
college.
Kids,
she went to a regular college.
She does not. She does not do that.
is
No, she
shoe-
does. She just caught a charge, bro. Class X felony,
Right.
cocaine distribution.
shoe-
If you want to go a
Shoehorning
step
kids.
further, my
She's her,
wife,
she's her Uber Eats right
My-
now.
I was trying to save her the.
No.
my
It's
wife,
too late.
My
They
wife,
already got it.
My
It's too
wife
late.
graduated with her bachelor's. She made a commitment to education because she knew that that's what she wanted to do.
Sure.
And she got her bachelor's degree, got her master's degree while she was working. We were both raising 2 kids. Both of us got our bachelor's and master's when we both had 2 kids.
Is-
How do we fit that in?
You don't.
Is-
We got
Well,
kids
it's
that
ama-
complain they can't learn math and English in high school, but somehow we fit it as adults. We fit it in
because when you're an adult, you have a drive.
We
when
have
you're
a drive,
when
personal choice.
Yeah, when you're a kid, you're forced, and who likes to be forced to do anything? Obviously, you don't.
Is shoving kids through a meat grinder really an opportunity?
No,
it
You're
is.
not
It's
teaching
providing
them,
opportunity.
You're
not-
not teaching
it's-
them taxes. You're not teaching them.
No,
how
there's
to
definitely-
live.
they
You're
are
not
teaching
them
them
how
how
to
to
balance
Yeah.
their checkbook.
I
You're
no,
not
I
teaching
took
them-
I took all those classes.
You're not teaching them.
Things that are hard or things you don't want to do is adversity, right? Adversity creates strength.
Right.
If you cannot handle it and you cannot get through it, then the simple thing of you have to read this or do this stupid fucking math problem, when life hits you with something really hard, what are you going to do?
Just say I don't want to do this.
They're still
Yeah, I
not,
don't wanna do it, I don't wanna
but
do it.
they're still not getting that.
What else you got?
You
Drew?
have a whole generation,
All right.
a whole generation of kids, an entire generation of kids that are doing that, and they're still not able to deal with the adversity of real life once they're outside of it.
There's a whole social aspect that goes along with being in school too.
Yeah,
So
there's
just
so much at
learning.
play.
It could be better. All I'm
you're-
saying
you're
is
you're
it could be-
minimizing
they-
something
it
that's
could be better.
massive.
It could
I
be
know
a
I could
lot
be
better.
better.
It
I
could
know
be
I can.
way.
Ah, we
the
all can.
educational system could be way better.
Well, sure.
For way
Sorry,
more
man.
people.
No, you're good.
For way more people, if they just paid attention to those people.
Yeah, I have no horse in the race. I'm just saying that I feel like in anything, with jujitsu, with my work, with you, what you have to do every day, you have to deal with every day. That crucible of what we have to handle makes us stronger.
Sure. Like right now, I have literally a house leaking. So when we're done here, I have to go fucking find the leak and fix it.
Basement.
I don't know. I
Whose
think
house
it's
is leaking?
mine.
You got something else, Drew?
Let's
Where
go,
were
Drew.
we at?
I have lots of things.
Okay.
Well,
what else you got?
why can't
Okay.
Rick find it? Did you see a little headlight on?
Well, because he's out looking for vegetables.
No, it's daylight.
Right.
They're not out in the daylight.
Yeah. You gotta steal zucchinis at night.
His own zucchinis.
I'll move from the teaching stuff soon, but I wanted to like give you a chance to kind of pat yourself on the back because
Pat myself on the back.
oftentimes like you don't get to do that. You know what I
Nope,
mean?
never.
Can you share a memorable experience or success story that highlights the impact of your teaching on a student's life?
Oh boy, they're still coming.
I was gonna say, have you been in long enough to see that?
They're still coming.
11 years, gotta have somebody.
No, I mean, just when you, it's the little stories. I mean, I coached football at Highland, and Highland had Sam Laporta just get drafted. He was on the team. He was playing for the Detroit Lions as a tight end now.
Okay.
And he was on the team. I'll be honest, kids like that, you didn't have to do much to.
Right.
They were already self-motivated. They
Right.
were already
Obviously.
really highly. He's
Yeah.
a really highly intelligent person from a great family.
Sure.
And it's the kids that you had, and they graduate, and they're still figuring it out, and then but they're still leading a productive life.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's really what it's about. Like my brothers and I look back and we're like, man, we could have totally just been in jail.
Oh, sure.
Like we could have totally did something stupid.
So I found
went to jail, but you're raised like you start realizing the community influencers, just the people that say, hey, you can do that.
Right.
Somebody told me, hey, military, that's a good thing. You should look into that. Or like, hey, when you get out, you should go to college. Take advantage of that. And then somebody said, hey, you're what you're doing now is great, but if you really want to do it, you can do it.
Have you
if
gone
want to
back?
be a teacher, you can do it.
Drew, have you gone back to any of your teachers? I mean, in my book, you're successful. So I mean,
I got a Drew story if you want to hear it from Mr. Marshall.
Oh, please, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I
Okay, can't wait.
tell Mr. Marshall, I say, do you know Andrew Carr? He's like, yeah, I know Andrew Carr. He goes, he was the only kid that when I had like choose 2 of the 3 essays to write for your test in his whatever history class it was, he goes, I told him to choose 2, and that kid would write all 3 of them.
fucking
So
overachiever.
he took the opportunity that was there and said,
Brown
"Listen,
noser.
teach, you grade all 3 and give me the best 2." You know what
There
I'm
you go.
saying?
Okay,
It's
ass
just,
kisser.
Right.
you could call it that. You
Yeah,
could.
yeah. Brown
But
noser.
but he's also telling that
That's
teacher,
why-
"I really want this."
Right.
That's why
You
his
know?
hair's thin and all the noogies he got in the bathroom. Being teacher's
I heard
pet.
he was a scrawny little.
Yeah, he
Our
was.
teacher's
Yeah.
pet.
His workout was moving to Abercrombie and Finch boxes. So.
I bet he was a very decked out. He was a very as a kid. I had to come ask him. I had to come home and ask my kids. I got a pair of Air Jordans from my nephew.
Right.
He's a dentist now, and he gave me a pair of Jordans, and they go, Mr. Zobrist, you look dripped today. I'm like, what the heck does that mean?
I know.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I go home and I was like, is that even a good thing?
You know,
So I go to Cara. I said, yeah. Like, hey, Cara. Went to jiu-jitsu. I was like, what does drip mean?
Right.
He goes, oh, that's. I go, is that a good thing? He's like, oh yeah. Team that's good.
So I live in
I know what that meant.
I live in the ghetto, and this one lady
Like,
goes,
what's that mean?
this one lady's like, I like your aesthetics, and I go, I don't know if that's the right way to say that. So
Aesthetics.
and she was like, I like your aesthetics. So
Them shoes you got on right now are busting. No
They're
cap.
free, by the
They
way.
are, but
oh shit, they are busting,
My
man.
nephew gave me these. too.
FR.
For real, for real.
Carrollton Family Dental Care supports this.
That's all
Those
right. Fuck, no cap, bro.
Shout out to my brother.
Yeah.
And, he's working with my brother-in-law. But he's the
Gotcha.
dentist.
Yeah, I went back to my high school entrepreneurship teacher and also marketing teacher, and I went back when I owned 12 Papa John's, and I was like, the shit I learned here, it's the only class I paid attention to.
Yeah.
So I believe in vocational. I believe really everything that you say because I had these classes that guided me. That was what I was interested in. I fucking failed history. You know, I failed. Actually, I graduated with
History
a one.
was one of the classes I passed.
So yeah,
left history.
I still.
'Cause it's up here. It's
No,
in
no,
your
no,
head.
no. Yeah, I still don't care about history, right? Like, I don't care about the girl I fucking talked to 3 months ago. It's history. I don't give a fuck about it, right?
Because your new one is the shit.
Yeah, the new one is pretty cool. So anyway,
Haven't met her.
I'm a hot mess.
I haven't either, but from the pictures and his
Haven't met
description,
her.
she's
So
But
She's
yeah, I
she's
mean,
pretty awesome.
I think.
But
That's
so
I had some coaches. I had some coaches.
I met the one right before her.
which one?
Got to be an upgrade. That's all I know. Got to be an upgrade.
Stop. Which one though?
I ain't never even met this girl.
Oh,
This one,
yeah.
and she got to be an upgrade.
well, that was George Orwell's Animal Farm, wasn't it?
No, stop. You know, we're not talking about this. 'Cause
If George Orwell's Animal Farm smoked meth,
fuck you guys. It's hot in here. Let's
Let's get back on topic.
turn
This
here.
poor guy's.
Yeah.
This poor guy's.
Fuck you guys.
He's wearing a hoodie and saying it's hot. Man.
Fuck. Jesus.
So-
It was cold this morning when I went to the gym. Fucking
Back
pricks.
to answering your question, back to answering your question is, like the realization that like what you were taught in the past still has value. What you're bringing forward, like you have people that say you can do this, or they just it's the subtle things that I always got inspired by when I think back. I think back, like what the coach put you in a position to have opportunity.
Sure.
To be successful.
Well, Chuck, how many people
And-
from the pawn shop? Hold on. How many people from the pawn shop have changed their life around that have literally thanked us for that?
For just having an opportunity.
For not shooting a guy.
Well,
for
one
not
specifically.
Well, one
specifically.
guy we didn't kill, so he was thankful, right?
Yeah, come right back.
Yeah, he came right back and said, "Thank you for not killing me." I mean, we're like teachers of the street, is
Yeah,
what we
right.
are, right?
I mean, it's human.
No, and
It's the
I've had
human-
several people come through that have straightened their life out because of encouraging words.
Yeah.
Sometimes the teacher just you could teach whatever subject, but if you just push that student to
Well,
try and accomplish
Are
something.
you a content teacher? Or are you teaching to the person?
Well,
I mean,
Well,
I can
there's a
tell-
downfall
I can tell
because
you one that
how
did-
many people just go through the motions? How many teachers are 35 years in or whatever the fuck they're in,
the one I'm
and they're just
thinking
trying to
about-
retire? They're done, man. They've
I mean,
had their
there's that.
There is that.
There is, and but they
It's
do.
just like
they
put-
still enjoy that connection.
I had a
But they
horrible
still
high school
enjoy that.
experience. I had a horrible
Well,
high school
obviously.
Sounds like it. And
Obviously. Obviously.
that doesn't
But
sound. like,
I had a vice principal that was drunk all the time. I had a bunch of teachers that didn't give a shit. But I had a horrible. But as other people went through that same class as I went, and they had a great high school. They had a great experience. So,
Do you think it's economics?
But I can think
it's
of
not all
one.
like it's not one thing. It's
there's a lot
it's
of play
about
with
it's
economics.
the perspective. I mean, like you guys understand. I have one of the most unique teaching perspectives you could probably get, and this is my sales pitch, right? You're not going to find somebody that in this world that says I would like to teach that and that and that. If you want me to do that, I'll do that too. That just says I'm here take it, you know.
Yeah.
Give me something to do,
You're saying,
and I'm going to get the job.
You're saying,
done,
let me help.
Let me help. Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Right.
And so, you know, it's and somebody that knows what it's like to work afternoons, midnights, and days, knows what it's like, how hard it is on the family, and you know all
Right.
those perspectives.
Knows the struggle.
That
The refinery jobs suck.
That
You don't
value,
want to do that.
That does value education and learning, but also knows that
It's
you know,
relatable.
it's relatable. It doesn't, you know.
It's relatable
you gotta
to the
figure
kids.
out, like, you know, you didn't like English. My job is to figure out how I can get you that credit that says English on the transcript. But then I know you were good enough to go to that, and I'm going to figure out how we can get you from that point to the where you need to be.
But
you know what I mean?
you're
So that
not-
I can show the state I've done this thing.
You're
for
the
this.
exception, not the example.
Right.
There's a lot of people out there like that.
There
There
is.
is.
There's
There's a ton of
probably is.
people
There
out
probably
there.
is.
There's a lot of people that mail it in, you know,
Yeah,
and
I bet there's more people that mail it in. They're here for their job. They're here
Yeah.
for their
Sure.
There's some
their
people that are
pension.
really serious about their content, and you have to, as a person that I don't teach one particular content, I respect that on a level, and I have to have that student. If I have a student on my caseload, I'm like, listen, they're really serious that you learn this, and if you show them take one step forward, they're going to take one step forward to meeting you in a situation where you can get through this, that you're going to be survived. You can survive the class and get through. So
I want to go back to just what Mike said real quick about have I gone back and thanked any teachers, or
Yeah.
have I?
Go ahead, Cutwater. Tell us.
cut one.
I want to say that I was the dude who we didn't have to take finals, but I took finals to prove a point.
And
We established you were a nerd already. didn't we?
Right, I'm just
Yeah.
saying. And I had a lot of great teachers who I feel like
That's
practiced their art the way I do at my office. They cared more than they needed to. My physics teacher, his name was Mr. Carter. I think he passed away. You wouldn't have met him. Mr. Carter would come in, and he had a alter ego, and it was I can't say it because I'll say it wrong, but it was physics is great. Backwards was his name, and he came in dressed in a turban, which is probably cultural appropriation. But he came in and did all these fun experiments, did all this shit like shooting electricity bolts across the room, did all made it so that you wanted to learn, right? Like did stuff with lasers and let us do stuff like experiments where I filled a fucking 50-gallon aquarium, right, full of water and all this bullshit to simulate a sunset, so I knew how light refracted through it. Just all kinds of neat shit, right? So there was a lot of good people there, but the administration was terrible, like you're saying. And
you didn't. I didn't have that at CM. None
But-
of that shit.
but the-
What a single teacher at CM that did experiments.
Yeah, but-
like that.
well,
Not a
there's
single one.
also different classes.
but there was
But
there's people out there that do that, is what I'm saying. But on the other end, the administration of the school was terrible. So the reason why I've never been back to Wood River is because when I graduated and I gave my graduation speech, I shit on the administration bad. I just told them how big a pieces of shit they were and how they mistreated people and how they basically kind of everything you said, right, in a different sense, because I was 17, so I didn't have the words to say it, but I said it in a way they understood what I was saying, and everybody in the audience knew what I was saying, but not as eloquently as I could say now, right? So they didn't want to give me my diploma when I graduated after I gave my valedictorian speech. It took me almost 2 hours to get it from the fucking superintendent, fat Dr. Parker, the piece of fucking shit.
I love when the Cutwater kicks in.
But anyways, long story short, I would love to come back and talk to students about what life is and how it comes from after this and how to take personal accountability and what it means in life to do things, because I really appreciate those teachers that took care of me.
Because 25 years later, you have, and I wasn't even 25 years later when I went back. I went and found this teacher that would come and get me after, because I was skipping. I would skip all the fucking time. My senior year, I needed like one fucking class to graduate. The rest of them, I was just playing pitball at Alton High. So, but he would come get me. Hey, there's a test today. You got to come in. And I'm like, I'm fucking winning this pitball game, man. You gotta give me like 5 minutes, man, to fucking bury this guy. So, but it's like, but whenever, and what's funny was I thought I was successful at that point. You know, like I bought one restaurant, and I bought 5 more restaurants, and I bought 6 more restaurants. And I thought I was successful at that point. And really, I just figured out that I was, you know, it was really my after high school education, the real education. I really just figured out I was a pawn and a cog in a machine that was just getting fucked over, you know. But I went back to that teacher because he had a failed business. And then, so he taught entrepreneurship, you know, because the best people to fucking teach are the ones that failed it. You know, if everything goes smoothly, then you didn't learn shit.
Or the ones that really have to struggle to learn.
We don't learn shit when things go smoothly,
No.
just like you said. Adversity makes you fucking smarter.
It makes you savage.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I mean, I sit on the mats and I thought, you know, I'm pretty mentally tough.
Right.
You're not mentally tough until somebody works you over.
Dude, I don't go to jiu-jitsu just because I don't want to be humbled that hard.
I don't look at it as humbling as just working what needs to be worked.
I just fight in the hood.
Yeah.
And if I start to lose,
I don't need to fight.
I just pull my gun.
I like the components that go on. I mean,
There's a lot.
It's humbling only. Like I already know I'm not like. I already know like. I don't have like. I haven't really reached that point. I got in one fight one time that I really only felt that's where I felt feared. I got jumped when I was in the military by some guys that were on base.
Right.
And, you know, I survived. Basically, I punched and run.
Right.
Which you got 2 guys and you're going to do that. Anyway, but it was a funny story. They came through a door, pow, pow. There was double doors in Montana because it's so bad winter. Come through another door, pow, pow. So I just punched and run. I was survivable. And I was probably the most intense thing. And I don't know that I could ever really hurt anybody. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know that. I don't really think I want to know. I don't want to get to that point.
Well, we're at a certain age now. It hurts
when
us
it comes,
more.
Yeah, when it comes to a certain point, I'm like, all right, we're good. We're good.
Yeah.
Like when him and I like feeling safe, who I'm grappling with, and all that stuff. So but it does make you feel like I can withstand. Like I already knew I could withstand some pain, and then the physical pain goes into it, and then you realize the physical pain that you feel the next day is actually good pain because you're healthier.
Right.
You know.
Sure.
And so then when your body's healthier and your mind's already healthy,
right.
You know, it's like feel more you feel like, man, I'm ready to just go there and just
that's why we work out.
Seize the day.
Yeah.
So, you know.
That's why we work out. That's why I work out first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
There's nothing really
sets the day.
Like there's really not much that I can't handle.
Sure.
When it comes to the school stuff. Like there's not any every school district has the same characters in it.
Right.
You know?
No, absolutely.
They have this kind of a teacher, this kind of a teacher.
Corporate world's the same way.
Exactly, same thing.
Yeah, same thing. You have every character.
Personality. Yep.
Yeah, every character. There's that exact same character in every facet of life, really.
Yeah.
You know, you go to a fucking church. You still have the same characters that you do at work, that you do at school or wherever.
You got and in order to be if you want to be personally successful, you got to know. That's not manipulate is a terrible word to use for that. You have to know how to navigate that.
Or adapt to it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's where all this adversity, like personal choices, and taking adversity and still moving forward, and like being able to get outside your boundaries, so to speak.
Right.
Push your boundaries. I never grappled in high school. I never, like, my son wrestled. He started wrestling in 7th grade. I didn't even know anything about wrestling.
Right.
But I saw that he had a passion for some parts of it. And then, you know, it dwindled away, and then COVID kind of killed it off, and he tore up his knee. But that's a whole different, another story. But then he got into jiu-jitsu, and I saw his brain. Now, all of a sudden, his brain's working. It's not just It's not just I'm going to whoop your butt.
Right.
And take you down and pin you to the ground and put your back down. All of a sudden, it's now a whole different dynamic here with, I got to submit this guy.
It's a chess match.
It's a chess match. And your brain's working. So jiu-jitsu, to me, is a brain thing, exercise, a physical, pushes the physical limits, but it's also a brain exercise. So I've sparred with him enough to know, like, there's certain things he likes to do. And then I feel something new coming on. I'm like, light bulbs go off in your head. There's something new coming here I'm not prepared for.
Right.
And then you're ready the next time around, maybe. It's like a repetition. And then
I think a lot of
it's a brain activity, but it gives you that physical presence. And
I think a lot of strenuous activities have that attribute to it.
That's why I liked sports. It was the
Right.
it was the men. I was always good with the mental. I was somewhat athletic, but
Right.
I mean, I pitched. I was a pitcher in baseball. I played basketball mostly, but
Right.
in football, I caught passes. That's all I did. I didn't do crazy things, but it was I was one of the slowest guys you'll ever find.
Right.
You know.
I wouldn't believe that, Whitey.
Well, you know.
I was kidding. So, anyways, what do you think, as far as adversity and kids? Do you feel like handling that is an inborn trait, or do you feel like it's something that can be trained?
No, I
I
think
think-
because
I think your
it's-
experiences.
I feel like
It's trainable.
people have dogs in them, right? That
Right.
like you're like, I'm not going to lose. I'm not going to let this get me down. I'm not going to allow this situation
I see it
to
more in
define
grappling
me.
than I do any wrestling, the grappling, the combat sports. I see it more in that than I do in some more of the finesse like soccer and basketball,
But-
some of the more different kinds of sport. But when you're hands on with somebody, and your job is to kick their butt, you see it. You can just tell. I can tell from the moment I see the play start. This person's dominant.
Right.
This person knows what they're doing, and I don't have to know anything, what their,
But
play is or whatever. But
I guess the question is, can you train? So
can you train somebody? Yes.
as far as not even jiu-jitsu, not even sports, but that mentality of
Yes.
the kids, if they come across this adversity in classes,
Absolutely.
in life, can they be trained to handle that better
Yes.
and not give up? Because a lot of times what I see now is
Hands up.
people just,
Yeah.
No, there's plenty of kids out there that come to school and they want to quit or they want to, and I tell you, there's you guys say you had bad experience with administrators there. I can tell you this, we've had I know we've had I've had I've seen administrators, kids that are homeless, their households are not in good shape. They're trying to take them under their wing to get them a place to make sure they're staying. I've seen teachers take kids in. I've seen some things, the last several years, like there's legit, like, I'm not that kind of, I told my wife, I can't, there's no way I could take a kid from my school and say, come live with me.
Right.
I haven't found that kid yet. You know what I mean? I'm just not that person. But when I go to school, I'm all business. I'll do everything I can, and even, after school, before school, I'll do whatever I can to get them what they need. But there's some really special people out there doing some awesome things in education. It's not just at Woodford; it's everywhere.
I got two people moving in with me on Sunday.
Yeah. So.
Tell them we gotta fix this water leak.
Yeah. It's but yes, you can teach young people. It's baby steps. It's get this done.
Well, it's like everything.
And-
so you feel like there's hope.
Oh yeah. I mean, guys, we have so much opportunity in this community. You know why? Because there is so much adversity. You know where it's hard to find adversity?
Arizona.
Yeah. I mean, what kind of adversity? Oh, I got my Nintendo
Bro,
or my
I'm gonna tell
Xbox
you.
taken away, or my cell phone got taken away.
I'm gonna tell you,
know
the
what I'm
adversity
saying?
in Edwardsville is I had to wait 35 minutes for my latte
Yeah.
at Starbucks.
I
bro.
had to go to Chick-fil-A and I had to stand in line.
Dude,
come
yeah.
on.
I went
I'm
to
just
Chick-fil-A
saying,
on Sunday and
the reason why I'm
didn't get a
picking on
fucking chicken sandwich.
The reason why I pick on Edwardsville is because I hate that the Riverbend area is the punchline for what's going on in Fairview, Edwardsville right now.
Yeah,
What's going on in Edwardsville right now?
just the growth.
We're the punchline.
Oh, the growth.
It's like where we live is like somehow we're lesser, and I don't like that mentality. And I know that's not everybody that lives there, obviously.
But the mighty will fall down up there.
It's just
Their growth's gonna fucking kill them.
It's unsustainable.
Yeah, their growth's going to kill them.
They do, they prepared years and years for all this growth, but
No,
I'm
I
just
know.
saying I've heard
But
a lot of people just like, oh, I don't like going there. It's just so,
Well,
whatever,
it's
man.
congested as fuck.
This is just normal, hardworking people here, that have problems. And,
Edwardsville is a whole different.
But you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like
So like what's nice is we have development in Wood River right now. We have Ferguson.
we are tough. There's a tough people.
Well, it's because you guys just smell benzenes all the time from the refinery. So
I've done told that story tonight.
huh?
I told that story tonight.
What's that? The
About
benzene?
about the benzene in the soil. Did I tell you that?
Yeah, you did like a whole thing on it,
Yeah.
right? So that's why Wood River's tough. They're,
Yeah.
I mean, there's less brain cells. I mean, it's just,
Okay,
I mean,
yeah.
if you're not smart, you gotta be
Roxana
tough.
Wood River,
yeah, if you're not smart, you gotta be tough. So anyway, they, but with what's happening in Wood River, I literally, what's amazing is I get to go to Wood River, I get to have things that are top notch, and I don't have to go to Edwardsville. So Sunday I went to Edwardsville. I drove there to get margaritas. Actually, Jeremy was there, so him and Brittany were there.
Was it very Jeremy situation?
No, I mean he looked real Jeremy, but
Okay,
I mean
okay.
Jeremy always looks Jeremy. So he had a fedora and a fucking it was a real Jeremy situation.
Jeremy's an Edwardsville kind of guy.
Jeremy is an Edwardsville kind of guy.
But is Edwardsville a very Jeremy town?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like,
come
there's
on.
some cool stuff there. Don't get me wrong. It's just that
I just needed high
Yeah.
alcohol
Yeah.
content. I was fucking crabby. So if you go to Tequila Z, get a margarita. It's
Yeah,
fucking delicious.
perfect, yeah.
It's fucking strong. So 2 of them will do you right.
just don't eat a lot of bread before.
No, I don't. I try not to eat at all. So it works better.
Oh, okay.
So
Oh, we need another one.
right. No.
Yes.
No. I have to go find a leak, not tear out my fucking house.
I'll help you.
Okay. So, but Wood River's coming up, but I love economics. That's my thing. I love watching. I don't
I'm
think,
an underdog guy too.
well,
I like the underdog.
yeah. So, I mean, I don't know.
I feel like there's a lot, like in the Wood River Alton area, I feel kind of like our growth is kind of like an underdog. It can be sneaky too. Like there's so much. There's buildings. There's opportunity.
It's all what you
you
make
know.
of it.
Yeah.
Should I tell him my underdog plan, or should I keep it under wraps?
Under wraps.
All right.
Under
Yep.
wraps.
Under wraps.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yep.
But I'm just saying, you know what I'm talking about though.
Yeah.
There's just being the history behind everything here. There, and
No matter what, we're a small town.
yeah,
No matter what.
deep down.
So it's all what you do with your small town. It's all about what you utilize out of it. So
And that's kind of how I feel as a teacher at the school
Right.
because, we don't have the, big time sports or
Right.
big time activities, but there's still kids that are doing things. I mean, and this summer in football, we had 30 plus kids every practice in the summer, and there's kids going to doing stuff, trying to improve themselves.
So, I want to tell a story about the administration.
oh boy.
Okay. Just real quick, and this is for Chuck because there's people who do things simply because they have the power to do them, right?
Mhm.
If you're in a leadership role at a school, I would say especially, you should be concerned about the long-term well-being, health of your students, like what's their future going to be, right? Maybe you can't, zone in on one kid, but overall, like, if an opportunity presents itself, like, this kid did something wrong, we can take this route or we can take this route. If you choose the route where it's going to fuck up the rest of their life, you're a piece of shit, right? So, I didn't start probably like having a sip of alcohol till junior year. Senior year, we had a party after one of the dances, twerp or prom, twerp, I think it was. There was a kid. We were at somebody's basement. The parents the cool parents let everybody drink. Evening goes on. It's 1 a.m. Not too many people are left. Everybody's filtering out. I am not intoxicated, but there's a kid who was a freshman. I was senior. He was laying on the floor in their laundry room. Obviously, alcohol poisoning, puking, just close to death, right? Like, in my opinion, not knowing any medical things yet,
sure.
right? Like, I'm like, he's not good.
Yeah.
I sat with him for 3 or 4 hours. Sun came up. He's still the same situation. The kid who owned the house, I said, hey, you need to tell your parents to call the ambulance. I go, this kid is in not good shape. I was like, he's going to die. I go, you have to call. And so they called. He spent like a week in the hospital.
No shit.
Yeah. So that party resulted in everybody getting called in
Yep.
to the administration, right? You don't know who's a narc.
Right.
Then you don't know who's going
All
to
of
fucking
them.
squeal.
All of
but
them.
All of them.
but
All of them.
all the kids who were like in National Honor Society and all the kids who were the top 5 in the class were there. They all left. They left. I stayed
Yeah.
and took care of this kid. And I knew I was going to probably get in trouble and this and that. And take that away from you, that affects your scholarships and your life opportunities. So, you know, I'm scared to death all day at school. It's
You're waiting for that moment.
yeah, you know, whoever. I'm gonna say a name. Sorry,
Right.
sorry, Kristen. Kristen Buer, come to the office. You know, Jared, come to the office. And I'm like, fuck, I want to be next. Call me to the office. I'm like, the whole day there, you're like, these motherfuckers snitch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I got there, and I was like, what do you know about this party? What do you know? I'm like, I don't know anything. But they were ready to kick
Take everything away.
Take everything you've accomplished away. Because I did a good thing and stayed with a person who I should have. But they wanted that so badly.
Sure. Yep.
Now, I don't know who. Nobody said it. I didn't lose anything. No, nobody did.
Right.
The point of the story is, I don't think anybody snitched or anybody narked. But they may have. But I was steadfast in saying, I don't know what you're talking about. You know, I have no idea. But they should be like, hey, we know you were there. We know you took care of this kid. Like, good fucking job. Like, you guys shouldn't be doing this. Is that? But they were ready to take it all away and ruin your fucking rest of your life.
It was after hours. They shouldn't have been able to do a fucking thing anymore.
Exactly right. That's after
That's
hours.
called
Honestly, they should have been on the
overstepping.
parents.
So that's law enforcement versus school.
That's overstepping
So
the
like,
boundaries.
so I got suspended, which would be expelled now. So we had like a 6-on-6 fight in the school, in the building, and this is the 90s, right? So there's pagers and gold chains everywhere.
Hell yeah.
Like we're just beating the fucking shit. A teacher got her arm broke because she tried to stop it. Another teacher got his nose broke. They were actually brother and sister, which was weird. But you know, they tried to stop this huge fight. We got suspended for 2 weeks. Now I had both of those teachers, and I failed both those classes, obviously. So everything else I got a C in, you know. But you know, those two.
They took care of you, didn't they?
But you know, that was the thing, you know, like
No, I mean,
back
like, those
then.
teachers, they're like, this
Well,
guy ain't passing my
No,
class.
no, absolutely right. You know, so like a teacher is legit in a cast for the rest of the year because we fucking, you know, she tried to stop and got her fucking arm pulled out of socket. You know, like, don't be 100 pounds trying to fight. You know, we're a bunch of big fucking dudes.
Yeah.
You know, and we're fucking fighting for real. Like, we're breaking backs. We're trying to fucking fight. So, you know, it was, you know, but those teachers, you know, that's on school grounds. Should we have been expelled?
Possibly.
Maybe. You know, because that was a violent fight. There was blood on the fucking wall.
I can tell you that kind of stuff is handled much differently nowadays. It's just handled much differently.
We did make the paper.
I got suspended for I was skipping class, but I was nowhere near the school. I was seen away from the school, and I got suspended when I went back to school. A couple days later, probably I got suspended
because you're away from the school.
Because of what I was doing away from the school on a day I was skipping school.
So the school should have no grounds for that.
None whatsoever.
No.
Right.
And so that's what I'm saying. Like,
So
their ability to affect your life is a fucking problem.
oh yeah, you want an administration stories? Everybody's telling administration stories. We were going through the hallways, 90s flannels everywhere, right? And we were going through the hallways, and flannels grow.
Rest in peace.
They get
Kurt
that
Cobain.
fuzz. They get that fuzz on the back.
Yeah.
And me and a buddy of mine.
You light them.
Yeah.
Yeah, light them on fire.
Yeah.
We were lighting them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just goes
Right.
up real quick.
Right.
It's
Done.
fine.
Done. It was funny. It was, you know what I mean?
Dang, glad
So
nobody
I get
did
on
that
the
to
bus.
me.
I get on the bus.
You didn't light somebody on fire, bro?
No.
That's fine.
I get on the bus, and this kid lights my head on fire.
Holy
Yeah.
cow.
Like, he's not even trying to light the fan on fire. He's lighting my head on fire.
Right.
And I didn't even know. This girl smacks it out. I didn't even know it was on fire. Like,
Why
it
you
happened
smacking
that
my
quick.
head?
Oh, he's
It
a
happened
hothead
that quick.
anyway. He didn't notice
So-
temperature change.
So I got suspended for a week
Because somebody
Because
else
they
lit
lit you
your...
on
because
fire.
they lit my head on fire.
What?
I got suspended.
See, they got bus
for a
cameras
week.
now, so you don't have to worry about that.
A week.
Yeah, but still...
Oh, there were witnesses. The
Yeah.
bus driver seen it happen.
Yeah, it doesn't matter because
Everybody's
if
seen it
you're in
happen.
a certain demographic,
Yeah, I know.
then
I-
you get
CM
shit on,
CM
period.
Especially.
I got
CM
you guys.
especially.
I had a decent experience, but you got to understand, my family was like the hoodlums of the.
I'm just saying,
we
it's always
My
economics.
dad would go up there and just rip ass on
Right.
the administrators.
Right.
So they hated, like, they didn't really like the family, but they couldn't really show. They couldn't
Sure.
discriminate against you. You know,
you
show
didn't go to
prejudice.
see him.
But they tried to disguise it, and it was a really weird feeling because you're like, okay, I know they're not this nice to me.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I mean, I learned. I got beat down a lot,
Right.
mentally, physically. Dealt with a lot of adversity and stuff. Not like you guys, different stuff. But
It is different.
I know I was a rule follower though. You gotta understand about me. I was more of a rule follower. Like, hey, let's go do this, and okay,
Right.
I might bitch and complain about it, but I was more of a rule follower.
I
So
was-
it was some of those things that you guys fought that battle.
We-
I did not fight that battle. I just moved on. You know?
I was gonna say I was a target, but because the stoners, we
Yeah.
were targets.
Yep.
We were targets
Back in the day,
in that school.
Definitely
we were
Maybe-
Now they're the cool
100%.
kids.
Hey,
So-
maybe, just maybe, that you were targeted because they wanted to put extra effort into you.
No, they wanted
To
us
help
out.
you.
They wanted
Listen
us
to this
out.
To help
They
you.
wanted us out.
Psychoanalyzation
Disrupted.
here.
I was taking a leak, and in a prep, a jock punched. His girlfriend broke out. I don't know what it was. Punched the.
Mirror?
We had fire extinguishers that they used to
Yeah,
bubble out,
punched
and,
them.
and he punched it and broke it, and so they heard the noise. He turned and went down this hallway, and I was coming out of the bathroom. And the teacher comes.
They
to see
got
me.
you.
And I wasn't anywhere near the fire extinguisher. You know what I mean? He was closer than I was, but they seen me directly. I got suspended for it. And my argument with that drunk asshole, Mr. Beck, was if I had punched that fire extinguisher hard enough to break the plexiglass, would
Yeah.
my hand not be sore, red, swollen, bleeding, something?
That's
Would
very
it not be-
intelligent of you to
Would
do
it not be? I said that to him, threw my hand down and said, would it not be something? And he goes, well, you were in the hallway. You're out. I got suspended 3 days. Now, thankfully, my mother's a control freak, and you're not gonna have control over my child. I get to say what you have control over. And she would come in and argue for me all the time. It wouldn't change anything. I still got suspended.
My mom used to bail me out of jail. So, what's up,
But-
Tony?
Tony,
How you been?
you prick.
What's Tony doing here?
I was like, damn, I
Huh?
thought I was like, I
Fuck you,
saw a shadow.
Right.
We wrapping up?
I guess
No,
we're
I got
wrapping
a
up.
question. I
Ten-
got questions.
One more question.
Oh, wait. Do you have a question?
I got rapid fire questions.
No,
fire.
God,
Oh,
Jesus
go ahead.
Christ. We have 10 minutes.
We have 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Where are you going?
To here.
I thought you were asking questions.
Man.
All right. Are you ready? Rapid
I'm
fire.
rapid fire.
You want,
Alright.
you want fun shit?
No, just start at the top.
Alright.
Start number 2.
Do you want me number 2?
Yeah.
He's laughing already. What's
Would
this
you
thing?
rather have the power to talk to animals, but they can only complain about their problems, or be able to understand any language, but only while you're underwater?
Any language?
Underwater only, though.
Yeah, I don't care.
So you're only talking to mermaids.
I don't care.
All right.
Next.
Would you rather have the ability to freeze time for 10 seconds once a day, or be able to teleport, but only to places you've never been before?
Freeze time, 10 seconds a day.
Fuck no, teleport. Teleport all day.
How fast would you lose those?
We would
places?
use it for evil, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm freezing time. I need that 10 seconds.
Dude, my sex
I'm a
life.
teacher.
My sex life's great, bro. Go on.
Oh, you're going a whole different area. Sometimes I step out of the cloud and go,
Yeah,
Step out.
That 10 seconds ain't gonna help that. Next. Rapid fire.
I'm trying to figure out. I can't read my own writing.
Well, fucking get on the fucking thing.
Okay, if you could have a conversation. Oh damn it! I'm fucking terrible.
Too
Yeah.
much cut water.
All right,
Yeah.
never
Cutwater.
mind.
Cutwater kicking
Here,
in.
can you read that?
That's that
I
cut
can't
water.
read.
I'll read it. Let me
Dude, I
see.
can't read anyway.
He's throwing his stuff on the ground. He sees.
I know.
let me read it.
Come on, man.
Cutwater. All right.
I read
Just-
chicken scratch.
Just pick one. I'm
Okay.
stealing that.
Would you rather have the ability to speak every language fluently, but you can only communicate in rhymes, or have the power to control the weather, but only during minor inconveniences?
Oh, I want to control the weather.
Yeah, more evil. More evil to be done.
You got 2 more questions. We're going to FMK.
Okay. Would you rather have a personal theme song that plays every time you enter a room, but it's a random genre each time, or have the ability to change your appearance at will, but you can only turn into a famous historical figure?
Ooh.
More evil.
Ooh.
More evil.
Ooh.
I think I'd like to change into a historical figure because I'm a history teacher, right?
Oh,
I mean, think
yeah.
about it.
Fair, fair.
Think
I
about
was,
it.
I was just thinking Abraham Lincoln in
I mean,
2000,
dude,
2023
teaching US
robbing a
history.
bank. Ain't nobody believing that shit.
Right, right.
Like,
Where'd the money go?
Dude, if you just
Fucking the hat itself.
as Abe Lincoln,
Going
if
to
you
the dark
posted,
side on that one.
right? If you post it on the internet, I can finally all the shit I say, would come true because Abe Lincoln said it. I saw it on the internet. Go on, one more.
No, go ahead.
No, you have your FMK after that.
Can you read the FMK?
Fuck no.
See, I told you my writing's terrible.
Cut water.
Oh my gosh. Hold on.
Hurry up.
Fail.
Go up to number 1.
Number 1?
Yeah.
Okay.
You were valedictorian in your class. And that says something about your class there, buddy.
It's fucking whatever. It's benzenes, bro. It's benzenes.
Fucking Hood River.
Let's think
It's
about it.
benzenes.
Would you rather have the ability to fly, but only at a snail's pace?
Oh.
Or be able to run as fast as a cheetah, but only for 10 seconds at a time? Could you imagine flying through the air like
10
this?
seconds do for you?
No, but you're flying through like this. Like it was like,
I'm not fond of the heights.
I mean,
so
I'd be
I'd have
able-
to go with the cheetah.
I'd be able to pee on people.
I would fly.
better.
I'd fly at a snail's pace.
Yeah,
but
snail's
you know
pace.
what? The snail's pace, I think I
Yeah.
could handle. I'd get acclimated.
Yeah,
So I'm
yeah,
gonna say
yeah.
snail's pace.
No, you got to fly at the
Well,
snail's pace.
you'd be able to aim and pee on people.
Well, that's. I didn't even think about that.
Drop water
Dude,
balloons.
I could fucking
Right.
shit on people.
Right.
You ever try shit in a lake? I mean, that's amazing. All right. So FMK. So do you know what FMK is? Fuck, marry, kill.
Okay.
All right. So you're gonna get 3 names.
so he's got. So
I'm go F.
These are Air Force, either imaginary, actual or fictional Air Force people.
Did you write the word cum?
Drew, no more.
Okay.
No more cut water for you.
No,
on
Cutwater's
podcast
fine.
days, buddy.
All right. So FMK. So you have to fuck 1, marry 1, and kill 1.
Okay.
Okay. And this is for the rest of your life.
Okay.
Okay. Is that Chuck Yeager?
Yes.
Okay.
Chuck Yeager's one.
Do you know who?
that is.
Do you know who Chuck Yeager is? Okay.
Who's Chuck Yeager?
This is,
Is that Juan?
Captain John Hannibal Smith. Do you know who that is?
Oh, I know who
Hannibal?
Hannibal Smith is. Yeah.
Fucking motherfucking 18.
Yeah.
A-Team.
Right.
Oh, okay.
And
Cum.
no, that's Carol Danvers.
Oh.
Carol Danvers.
That
Carol
is
Danvers.
Captain Marvel.
Okay.
She's fictional, obviously.
Who's
So
who's Chuck Yeager?
Yeah. Who's
he broke
Chuck?
the speed of sound.
Throw
for
the
the first
sound
time.
barrier.
In a plane.
Supersonics.
Oh.
Yeah, in a plane, I don't think he can run that fast.
You know what? If he's a cheetah for 10 seconds, he might.
Listen,
Listen, buddy.
that's a private school education. This is a valedictorian. He can't read his own writing in private education.
Right. I would
Doesn't
say-
know that
Everybody
he,
has
doesn't
to
know he
do-
did it in a plane.
Everybody has to deal with adversity.
Hey, you know what? He could have done it in a car.
No.
He could have done it
No.
on a
What
motorcycle.
speed of sound?
Or one of
what
those
speed of
boats
sound?
you're building.
800 feet per second.
Yeah.
800 feet
So-
per second
so
is
no.
the speed of sound.
No, it's like
So
no,
fuck you. My
no.
private education worked okay.
It's less than that. It's like
No, it's 800 feet.
Is it?
I think it's like real close to it. You might as well round up.
Okay.
Come on. Let's go.
I feel like I should
I got
know,
a car
but
to
I
clean.
don't.
I don't know why I know that. Oh, ammunition sales.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's the only reason I know is because
I got a car to clean. Let's do this.
700 and what?
1,125 feet per second.
Which
Is
is
the
how many
speed of
miles
sound?
per hour?
Like 70. All right, FMK.
There we go.
So you
Okay.
got Chuck Yeager.
So you
Who
got
is
Chuck
Chuck Yeager?
He's broke the sound barrier.
Oh,
Remember
yeah,
the
okay.
first time.
I got to pee. I can't wait for this.
He was an excellent fighter pilot. And he was also a test pilot.
Yeah, he was an ace.
He was an ace.
Okay.
And then he was a test pilot.
Did he buzz the tower?
He did
Yes,
buzz the tower.
he invented that. That's
Oh,
where
okay.
Maverick
Seriously?
got it from, probably. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
sure.
Oh,
I'm
geez,
sure his
fuck.
ego was
I
so big.
was falling into that. I was like,
Dude, but he wore a fucking Speedmaster. He's the fucking man.
yeah, like Omega.
He had an
Yeah.
ego the size of, well,
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, wouldn't you?
He had
his
to have.
giant schlong.
Bro, dude,
yeah.
my balls hang out whenever I
Big
ride my motorcycle
cojones,
fast.
yeah.
So
They
yeah.
used to.
like,
Yeah. So
All right. So and then you got what is that? Corporal?
it's Captain
John
Hannibal Smith
Oh yeah.
from the
Yeah.
A-Team.
And then Carol
Danvers.
so I'm going to go with the girl for the F.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Are you?
I got to marry one now.
She's kind of
Right.
she's kind of on the. She might
Is she kind of
be-
butchy?
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of
Now I
butchy.
got to marry one?
Yeah, you got to marry one, you got to fuck one, and you got to kill one.
I'm going to Chuck Yeager.
You-
I'm
which
gonna
one?
marry him.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm Air Force.
Dude, he's a one-time thing. He broke the sound barrier. That's it.
Well, he might die too.
Well, you got to fuck him.
Yeah.
If he
You
know,
got to fuck him, bro.
Yeah, I mean, so the marrying involves
I'm not
at
gonna-
least once in a while consecrating it. So you
Maybe.
and
maybe.
kill Captain John.
And kill Captain. Oh, dude, you're gonna kill the 18. You can't even kill the 18, bro.
dude.
It's on 24/7.
I would have to kill the rest of them too, then. But that's fine.
Then you got
Listen.
But I'm gonna tell you,
you got Mr. T coming for you if you fuck with him.
but if you married,
Yeah, but
Hannibal,
even Rocky Balboa took him.
yeah, but if you marry Hannibal, you'll never be in trouble.
That's what I'm.
You'll always figure out a way
That
out.
was my.
You'll
move.
always figure out a way out.
But then he might share you with the A team.
Well, I'm okay
Well,
with
I
that.
I don't want to be
that.
shared with
Bro,
the
if I can get 3 gold chains from Mr. T, I'll take
You know
it
what
in
the
the butt.
A team stands for?
Yeah,
Anal team.
yeah, dude. If I get a gold chain out of it,
Going down that road.
gold's almost $2,000 an ounce, bro.
So he's basically a pimp.
Dude, that guy's got
I don't wanna be
that guy's
pimped
got
out.
like 40 ounces of gold on his neck, bro. At $2,000 an ounce, I need that
Not
shit
much.
in my
I mean,
life,
Jewelry
man.
doesn't really impress me
I
much.
fucking love jewelry, man, especially when I can melt it.
Okay, so what do you got? What's your final answer?
I told you.
Yep, say it again.
Jaeger
what?
was
The F.
You're gonna marry him?
Mary.
Mary. I'm gonna take Captain or whatever
Marvel.
name it. Marvel.
You've never seen Avengers.
I'm not a big comic book
Movie.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I guess I gotta marry.
You're marrying Hannibal?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay with Hannibal.
I'm gonna marry the Hannibal. Yeah.
Yeah, because life of adventures on the run from the government. That's my fucking
Yeah.
ultimate fucking life.
Just
Life
a
on the
good
run.
Just
old
running
boy.
from the government constantly.
You could be like Willie Nelson. Just go on tour.
Well, I'm like
He
fucking,
got caught though.
Yeah, I'm like Mike Weller, just fucking hiding out in plain sight.
What else you got?
That's
That's
it.
That's
One last
That's
thing.
it. That's
One
what I
last thing.
One
Did you know Mortal Kombat was based on a Scandinavian church song?
Please tell me about it.
A Finnish hymn.
Dad jokes.
Dad jokes in the podcast.
Yes.
Thanks for watching. Posted fucking dad joke. We'll say it on air. We won't, but
No.
because we don't read comments.
I do. I read the comments.
Do you?
Yep.
Yeah, look at you.
I even reply to some of them.
No, look at you. All right. So like, share. Thanks for coming on.
you.
It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
All right, we're gonna go grapple in one wheel.
Yes.
All right. Bye.
Yeah.